You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it means nothing. Nothing about a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electric light to kick us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like the 7-no-meter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy, and man makes them happy because man makes them gone. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man
Greetings. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. I'm your host, Che and Kruma. We got Lady Che in the background. Say hi to people, Lady Che.
Hi, family. I just got done doing the RVA. Go check it out.
Yes, make sure y'all check the RBA. Lady Che just did it like an hour ago, less than an hour ago. And we got Shabaka, our West Coast correspondent, and also the co-host and co-executive producer of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. The show is named after him. Greetings, Shabaka, from the mile high income and illegal migrant flooded city, soon to be deported city, especially since the birthright citizenship has been ended. And the topics that we're going to be discussing on the season 10, episode 26 of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, we're in Rising with Shabaka and the Chase in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. Our former Black Congressman Jamal Bowman cusses out Ana Cabrera on CNN, mentions lynchings, firehouses, civil rights workers. Cabrea upset about blacks not supporting Latinos, or as I call them, Latinos. Shout out to Great Black Shark for that. Be sure to mention Latinos are saying we do not deserve reparations. 3 other groups do not support blacks who are murdered by the police. Number 4, police murders. Number 5, experimentation on blacks. Number 6, Al Green introduces Articles of Impreachment for like the second or third time, which is going nowhere. So those are the topics. Somebody just got in the studio. Is that you? Shabaka? Oh, Shabaka got kicked out the studio. Okay, welcome back, Shabaka. I was like, where's Shabaka going? I was just going for the introduction to Shabaka. So give people context on this interview on CNN. I'm going to pull it up.
All right.
Fair use. Let me do this right now. Fair use under copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. We got Twin in the building. We got Mac 285 in the building. And we got Jab. Jab said he's on his way to the gym. He's going to be listening while he's at the gym.
Get your road work in, Jab. Get the road work in. Stay away from the piece of real estate with grass on top. Jab would know what I'm talking about.
Yes. All right. So while I'm pulling up the clip, Shabaka, tell people what happened during this interview or this discussion that happened on Caucasian Nazi Network.
Oh yeah. Ana Cabrera, got upset. Okay, and the gentleman you told me was Jamal Bowman.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mr. Bowman, he held his own, in regard to reparations, in regard to brutalization, and I'm quite sure that this is the correct clip. And also, too, people, if you hit that PayPal, we need money. All right, we know we're controversial, okay, and we need money, people, okay, to keep on and to expand, this network. And we're not the most popular network out there, and we appreciate all insults, diatribes, lack of intelligence, and I do know the word is lack of intelligence coming our way. That means that we're getting somewhere. All right.
All right, I think I found the clip. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, and it was with Abby Phillip, I believe. Okay.
No, that's not it. Oh, God, where's the one with the Jamal Bowman at?
And while you're dealing with that, just to highlight it a little bit, Mr. Bowman was talking about reparations. Ana Cabrera was saying that we should forget about it and saying that we should join the Latinos with their situation. But the Latinos have been making some derogatory comments about us in regard to the NGR term. And the only reason that this is happening is because we have
they're talking about make the N-word great again.
Yeah, make the N-word great again.
Before that, they were telling us that they didn't need our help and that we just need to watch them work. And now they crying foul, talking about where the FBA's at, where the black people at. We need their support.
Yeah, and of course that of the diasporic Africans as well too.
No, they're not. Oh no, Shabaka. They clicking up with them tethers. They're clicking up with them tethers against FBA. So no, they're not asking for the diaspora's help. They're asking for FBA's help.
Okay, but also too, have you been researching President Ibrahim Traore of the Burkina Faso?
Yes, Shabaka. We covered him extensively on Front Line Blacc News.
Yeah, and there's been some more developments with it as well too.
I'm trying to understand the clip. They have these old clips from like 3 months ago.
Yeah, but there's been some later developments with President Traore, and I think President Traore.
Let's focus on this Jamal Bowman first, because I don't want to get sidetracked.
I understand.
What day did Jamal? What day exactly was Jamal Bowman on the show?
Okay, I believe this here was within the last 6 days.
I think Phil Scott covered this. He covered it on his podcast.
Yeah, it was on the CNN with Abby Phillip. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not finding it when I put it in the search for this week. So I was trying to put it for the month, but it wouldn't let me do it.
Okay. And the date of the note that I have here, I dated it. Okay, wait a minute. That's today's date on there okay, but anyway, the one that she was debating, okay, is that he was mentioning about the lynchings.
Okay, here it is. I found this about him. They were talking about the win. They were talking about Old Boys win in New York.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the full clip.
Okay.
Punk ass Matt Walsh covered it. That racist white supremacist.
Okay, and we're doing this here under fair use.
You already did the fair use disclaimer.
Yeah, but we want to keep putting that up there, and then also too, ladies and gentlemen, check us out on StreamYard of the Shabaka's Black Experimentations, which ought to be coming on in the next couple of days. I got to check with our East Coast correspondent on that one right there.
Okay, I think this is it right here, Shabaka.
Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna put the fair use up on the screen.
Okay. Okay, fair use.
Political landscape throughout the entire country for years. Democrats are trying to figure out how to navigate Zoran Mamdani's unexpected victory in New York City's mayoral Democratic primary. Does the party need to move further to the left? How do they capitalize on the enthusiasm he generated, even if they don't agree with his platform? The strategy for Republicans is pretty clear, though. Paint him as the standard and not an outlier of the party. The National Republican Congressional Committee posted a picture of Mamdani with 3 vulnerable New York Democrats, and they wrote this: every single Democrat now owns Mamdani's radical socialist agenda. Now, it's worth noting that none of these 3 Democrats actually endorsed Mamdani. In fact, Congresswoman Laura Gillen was not happy with the primary results. She wrote that he's too extreme and the absolute wrong choice. Joining us is former New York Congressman Jamal Bowman, who was with Mamdani last night. Jamal, it's a big moment for New York, but is it something that is actually able to be extrapolated beyond the city, which is in a pretty unique moment? He's an immigrant who's in a city facing anti-immigrant, policies from the federal government. There's an affordability crisis. There's a lot going on here.
Yes, he's the perfect person to respond in this moment to not just a crisis in the city as it relates to immigration affordability, but the fact that the Democratic Party is on life support right now with like an approval rating of about 20-something%. So as we talk about bringing excitement back to politics and democracy, his campaign inspired New Yorkers across the city. Turnout was much higher this election than in 2021. Young people, first-time primary voters, made up 25% of the turnout, and he crushed a political dynasty in Andrew Cuomo. And so we should lean into that excitement, and we should do everything we can to learn from what he and his campaign did, which was exceptional, and see how it can be replicated in other parts of the country. Now, let me say this. New York is a special place, incredible diversity of people, ideas, working class, etc. But when we talk about economic populism, he ran on affordability. Everyone's trying to afford to live. And so it's absolutely something that we should try to benefit from as a party and as a country.
Yeah, I mean, so I want to talk about the policies in a second, but just for a moment, what you're talking about, kitchen table issues and a candidate that has a personality like a pulse, right? Like that matters. And it seems like that worked pretty effectively for him in this race. He just was focused on saying he's going to make things more affordable for people, which, the candidate of no taxes on tips and no taxes on Social Security understands.
Well, I think it was more than just trying to make things affordable. I mean, he's embraced, a $30 government enforced minimum wage. He's basically embraced the government taking over grocery stores in New York. He's embraced legalizing sex workers. I mean, New York is a unique place. That's true. If Democrats want their numbers to go below 20%, they should keep following this guy. I think it's good for Republicans. But I think, Abby, to your point, what's disturbing is I feel like the economic nationalism isn't just limited to the Democrat Party. Today, Republican senators have proposed a national minimum wage. Republican senators have proposed caps on credit card fees. These are not traditional free market ideas. These are ideas that both parties are flirting with of a much bigger government intervention into our economy.
Well, which seems to suggest that voters actually are interested in that.
I don't want to take anything away from Mamdani, and in terms of, I think the word you used, inspired, is the accurate word. He did inspire, certainly, and engage the youth. He had incredible social media presence in a way that nobody else in that race could match, and got him views and volunteers and votes. But let's not also forget that he was running against Andrew Cuomo, who I'm sorry is damaged goods. He's saddled with incredible political baggage. This is a man who has 13 accusations of sexual harassment against him and a scandal involving the nursing homes, which got a lot of play in New York State, including New York City. I have a lot of friends who told me they could not bring themselves to vote for Cuomo because of those allegations, women friends in particular. So is it a wake-up call for the Democratic Party? Absolutely. And I think Governor Hochul and I think Chuck Schumer need to be paying close attention what's going to happen in their primaries. I think anybody thinking of running for president in the Democratic Party needs to learn about how to engage the young people, how to inspire a base. But also, maybe, just maybe, running somebody with the kind of baggage, an albatross around his neck that Cuomo has, also not a perfect dynamic.
Mamdani at the moment is still sort of like the fresh kid on the block, but very quickly this is going to get, it's already gotten pretty negative. It'll get even more negative. There's an old post from his on Twitter in 2020 where he says, what we need is to defund the NYPD, no to fake cuts, defund police. That's just one thing. And he talked about some of the other policies around government subsidized grocery stores, which I don't think is like every grocery store, just certain ones that the government subsidizes for people in need. But nonetheless,
I just think
this
that
is going to be
there
an
are very few people in New York or around the country who don't think groceries are too expensive, that childcare is too expensive, that rent is too high, or that transportation is too cumbersome, right? And so I think people resonated with that, and on top of that, a positive vision, and he was a charismatic candidate. And of course, the Cuomo thing is a consideration. The thing that I think is important to note, though, as someone who was chief of staff to a mayor for 4 years, the most stressful part of the year is budget season. Because in order to do those kind of things that you want to do, to deliver the government services, you need revenue. And in New York, 50% of the revenue comes from business-related taxes, right? So you have to be thoughtful about how you engage the business community and not completely alienate them, or else you're going to lose that valuable revenue for the services that you want to deliver.
Well, Abby, you know, I'm a Californian, and I get in the front row seat to what happened in this campaign. And I've seen a lot of these issues in California already. We saw them at the national basis when Kamala Harris was running, what they used against her. You know, the issues that
we'll see
some
Lieutenant
of them
Governor
Donnie's talking about. But New York is a different place, and it's new. I mean, you've seen, but we've.
Who was he the lieutenant governor for?
Okay, California.
Yeah, but who though? Who was he under?
I'm gonna have to say. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember who the governor was before Gruesome Newsom. Okay, that would be Edmund G. Brown. So he would have to be under the wait a minute. Yeah, Brown did do another term as governor, if I believe, because he tried to run for attorney general. I think he lost, and I think he became the governor. All right, I'm gonna put it in a search bar. Okay, what's this dude's name? Abel Maldonado, right?
Yeah.
All right, hold
on. All right, while you're doing that, I'm gonna let the clip continue.
Right.
Seen this before. Ocasio-Cortez beat Joe Crowley. He was a 20-year incumbent House Democratic chair. She beat him. Very charismatic. We know she can speak very, very well. Happened here again. But when you go down the line and you start talking to people and you say freeze rents, free bus rides, high taxes on millionaires, free childcare, city-owned grocery stores. I mean, I've been to city-owned grocery stores in Havana, Cuba. You don't want to go to those. Minimum wage, $30 bucks an hour. I can go on and on and on. Those are issues that are tough. I don't see it.
It sounds pretty good to a lot of people.
I think we have to distinguish between the things that are free universal child care is not controversial. Let me just be clear. Like, we walk down the street and ask New Yorkers whether they support universal child care. That is not controversial. So you're going to have to distinguish between some of the other things that are more controversial and the ones that are really not.
100%. And when you talk about taxing the wealthiest Americans a little bit more, which comes to about $20,000 additional dollars for each of the wealthiest Americans, raising us billions of dollars to invest in universal child care.
He was the life governor under the Terminator.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Because he seemed like he was a Republican and it seemed like he was a Democrat. So
right. Well, like I said, that there's one of those cases, and I think that there's a third time that California did that, where they would elect a Republican governor and a Democratic light governor, and then they'll turn around and do the same damn thing in reverse. I've witnessed it 3 times.
But in this case, they were both Republicans because the Terminator was a Republican and this dude was his lieutenant governor.
Okay, but he was a Democratic lieutenant governor.
Oh, he was?
Yes, sir. Okay, and I think
he's an actual Democrat because he don't sound like a Democrat.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, man, these Democrats, man, are just that. That's why we call them the Democrats. You know, he's doing what a rat does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so was this the clip or there's got to be more to this because they're just talking about the waiver.
Okay, so no, this should be the clip because it's 9 minutes.
Something that working class people want to hear. Billionaires have been getting off scot-free for many, many years. Also let me just say one thing. Mamdani is just not a pulse. I know you didn't mean it that way. And Ocasio-Cortez is not just articulate.
What I meant was that
I just want to.
He has a pulse.
He has a pulse. Yes.
He has energy.
But yeah, correct. And I want to be be very clear. AOC is a superstar. Zoran Mamdani is a superstar. He's exceptional. His team was exceptional. The Dream campaign against Cuomo were exceptional. So they ran an exceptional campaign with an exceptional candidate. That is scalable. You could take that anywhere across the country and compete against any of the top Republicans.
Can I disagree with you
on that destroy
for a
them?
No, man, them is bullshit. Okay, so what they'll do is slice up the clips.
Yeah, they slicing it up. So I'm gonna find the other clip.
Yeah,
it wasn't up in the search bar, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, because they're gonna piss him off, and then he's gonna. And he brought up the lynchings. He brought up the fire hoses of the civil rights workers. You see, and then this is where Cabrea gets upset why blacks are not supporting the Latinos.
Sorry, y'all. I hit the vape, and now it's got me coughing up a storm. Okay, Jamal Bowman, CNN. More about this story. I'm gonna see if it shows up under this.
Now you know why they do that on YouTube, right?
Why, Shabaka?
So you can go buy the premium channel.
Well, I got ad blockers, so I don't have to buy that shit. I got Pi and blocks all the damn ads. So that's what, $14 I don't have to spend.
Right.
Let me see, where is this? Find the odds. It's weird, y'all, because when you put it in the search bar, it don't even show up.
Okay, so then that means that what YouTube has done, man, you know, their community standards garbage. You know what I'm saying? But when I saw it live, okay, is that he did
definitely not playing the coon.
Okay, wait a minute. Black fatigue. Try the black fatigue one. Because I'm looking at the setting in the studio that they had, and that was definitely the interview right there, because I remember how people were sitting.
Yeah, I'm not playing the Hodge twins. Hell no.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh, no, another white supremacist.
Yeah. See, man, they doing that garbage, man. That's what's breaking everybody, man. You know, is this because they keep bumping the price on it. You see.
Okay, another damn.
Okay.
This is the black conservative's perspective, so he's probably gonna be like clowning too. I wish they had just the whole freaking clip up here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. They used to put the whole up there, man, and what they're doing is they're just giving you slices of it. So it's a tactic more for them to get you to go for the premium on YouTube.
Well, I don't understand, because if you go for the premium, then you're just paying out money to avoid the ads, but you got ways around it, like I just described. So, you know, they just censoring shit. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So much for fair speech. Okay, but I'm gonna go off of my notes there for our listeners. Okay, Mr. Bowman on that, he did mention the lynchings.
If the Democratic Party is smart, and I'm speaking specifically, Hakeem Jeffries, Brett Meeks, Jim Clyburn, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Biden, all the establishment leaders, they would get 100% behind Zoran for the general, and they would do it this week to set the tone, because they're not going to beat MAGA trying to do old establishment shit like they've been doing the last couple of years. That's not going to work. And so they better understand. I wish they would have understood this before, but there are superstars in the Democratic Party. AOC is one of them. Some people disagree with her. Whatever you disagree with, she's still a superstar. Now, Zoran's another one. You got to uplift your superstars, man. Like, I'm a sports fan. You got to let your great players make plays to win championships. You can't fucking put them on the bench and say we're going to put some 70-year-old white man in charge of some committee thinking like that's what that's good for America. That shit don't make sense. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss.
Last one from me, and then you guys.
Hurry up, because I got CNN in like
Richie
7 minutes.
All right, Richie Torres, doesn't this suggest that Richie Torres is vulnerable and somebody like a Jamal Bowman should run against him?
Inconsequential. Can we stop talking about Richie Torres?
Not as long as
Richie Torres is a whack motherfucker. Let Richie Torres keep doing his bullshit, and let's keep doing our shit. We don't care.
Marxist ideology is what really drives him more so than his religion. Okay, so the main, I guess, attack or criticism of Zoran Mamdani really comes from his socialist, his Marxist ideology, not necessarily his religion. Okay, at least as far as I'm concerned. Okay.
Number one attack, Abby. I mean, I think in our conversation tonight, we've been focused pretty much on the policy.
I mean, you have. I'm not talking about you. Look, you're invited to this table. I'm talking about the people who, as we just showed, that is what they say. He's a Muslim. He's an immigrant. This is what makes him unacceptable.
I'm not going to sit here and condone it, Abby. I think the reality is, yeah, sure. But I think there's performative artists on both sides. In both sides of politics today, and as intolerable as some of the rhetoric is, the reality is that the last two assassination attempts on Donald Trump were from leftists. Assassination attempt on Brett Kavanaugh was from leftists. So we condemn the rhetoric on the right, but it seems like it's always focused on the right and actually not focused on the actions on the left.
2 elected officials in Minnesota were killed. They were Democrats. That wasn't an assassination attempt. They were killed.
They were killed. And
Hold on, let me finish.
Question about the motive of the person who did it.
These were 2 Democratic elected officials in Minnesota who were killed. The Tree of Life synagogue shooting, killed. Christchurch, New Zealand, slaughtered. AME Church in South Carolina, on and on and on. Catholic, this is America.
Catholic
and the problem is we are not dealing with America's original sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on?
You can't be calm about this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease, listen to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. If your colleagues would listen and try to learn and engage and grow and stop being so hateful, we could have a better country.
Wow. I'm dumbfounded right now. I'm dumbfounded. Do you guys understand what this dude just said on national television? So you got an overweight, very overweight black man on television claiming that the reason why black people have higher rates of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, health problems, right? Basically, all of the issues, okay, that black people have in this country has nothing to do with their own choices, right? It has nothing to do with that fried chicken.
Man, fuck that dude there.
Eating that fried chicken. Okay.
I know.
Eating too much.
I know he's fucking back
dude talking, man. No, because he's trying to take away from what the point that Jamal Bowman was making, and which Mr. Bowman was right about, because I lived through the shit that he spoke of.
Shabaka, I'm in nowhere agreement with this coon. I'm just playing it because he had the video of the interview. So Front Line Blacc, we don't agree with what this raccoon is saying. That's giving the commentary. Hence, we do not agree nor condone with this nonsense that this raccoon with this dead ass shirt is saying in the corner. So I'm gonna let this play, just so y'all can hear the interview. I don't care what he's saying. I just want to cover what Jamal Bowman and Ana Cabrera was talking about. So I'm gonna try to fast forward because he's giving his bullshit commentary. I didn't play the video for that. I just played it for the clip.
Still here. Jamal,
the hate's coming from one
Jamal, I feel your passion and I understand where you're coming from, sincerely. I really, really do. It happens on both sides, Jamal. You might think it happens more on your side. Jamal,
you don't know what type of lunatics that are going to be running for office. They're energized. They're
still here.
Jamal, the hate's coming
He's not black at all. He's not black in America. He ain't black anywhere. He's a white passing Latino, and he shares a lot of them same sentiments that them white Cubans share, and that's why they voted for the dump, and they voted for DeSantis down in Florida. Like, he embodies all that racism and white supremacy. That's what they have to say. And if you're brown, stick around. But if you're black, what you do, black family? Say it with me together now. You get the fuck back.
And if you're white, you're all right.
And if you're yellow, you're mellow. Those are the rules of racism.
Yeah.
If you're white, you're all right. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, stick around. And if you're black, get the fuck back. So Jamal Bowman he's trying to articulate that the oppression that we experience in this country is the cause of a lot of our health ailments.
Which he's right about. Stress, number one. Police killings, inner city self-destruction.
But this raccoon, I don't even know if he's FBA. He looks like a damn cheddar. But this raccoon that's giving the commentary, I don't agree with nothing that he's saying. He's talking about, oh, it's just by your choices, and you just need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Y'all just need to stop
man, for the last 50 years, and every time that we try to do it here, they got some damn counter man, to come up with it. I mean,
now they got others that look like us, but they're not of our lineage, speaking them same talking points.
And that's why I miss John Conyers.
Yeah. All right, let me let the clip continue. Hopefully this raccoon don't get no more commentary.
From one
Jamal, I feel your passion and I understand where you're coming from, sincerely. I really, really do. It happens on both sides, Jamal. You might think it happens more on your side. Jamal, when I leave the show, Jamal, you should see my...
He act like motherfuckers is calling him.
Man, I would have been untold that motherfucker to shut the fuck up and just in those words. Let the man finish. See, he's coming in there with that tactic, man, and he won't let the man finish. Why? Because he does not
act like he act like his white wannabe Blanco ass is getting called a spick and a wetback
exactly
every day, and that's harming him and his community. Them others, they don't even identify as brown. The only time they brown is when they want something, or they want to act like, oh, we're in solidarity with you. But in reality, they're not in solidarity with us in code and on solidarity with racism and white supremacy.
Yeah, and that's why in the recent events in Los Angeles the last few weeks, man, like Uncle Phil Scott said, we sitting this one out. We can't do it no more.
So he's trying to equate what Jamal Bowman is saying to what Latinos go through when, like I said, they're claiming white on everything. All their paperwork, everything is white. But these same mugs think it's okay to say nigga and call you a nigga and think that you're supposed to see okay with that. No Latino passes given, no cracker passes given, no OTB passes given.
Yeah.
My Twitter
to
feed.
death, and they're acquitted. Rodney King,
Exactly
Abner
like that.
Louima, Eric Gardner, Trayvon Martin, black cops in Memphis. It's not the same. And I don't want to qualify or quantify pain. That's not what I'm talking about. Everyone goes through pain. But the racism in this country is the disease that will destroy us. And it's destroying us right now as we speak. January 6th, everybody was pardoned.
Bruh, this dude is so dumb. I can't believe it. Why is Abby Phillip inviting these people on her show?
Motherfucker up there on that right hand
These
corner.
people are
You the dumbest son of a bitch, man, that I ever seen, because I've lived through with this.
You erect a wooden cross
Dude
and
on the
man
right
was walking
in the
through
lower
the Capitol
corner,
with a
I was
Confederate
there.
flag.
Yeah, that's why I gave the disclaimer before I played the video. So I didn't want to play the video because this is only one I could find a clip of. That's the only reason why I'm playing it. With this raccoon in the corner, like I said, with the dead ass shirt, what he's saying does not represent nothing that we are agreement with.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he is a goddamn cheddar. He's either a Haitian cheddar or a Ghanaian cheddar. He's some goddamn cheddar. He's not FBA. He's definitely not.
He's the motherfucker who needs to take a trip to the city of Los Angeles and get how should I say, visited by the LAPD. They'll remind him of what he is.
Yeah, a nigga. But in his
exactly. As the nightstick and the nightstick glides gracefully upside his head.
I was evacuated, Congressman.
What does the Confederate flag represent?
Come on, Congressman.
I'm asking you a question.
This was about a riot in the Capitol.
When you erect a wooden cross in America.
This white supremacist condoning the J6s.
Yeah, but Trump is pardoning all them dudes.
Yeah, and the cracker over there is condoning that shit. He's like, he don't put on the cape. He's like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me come to the rescue. No, that's not what this is. They're not comparable. Why? She gonna say something stupid like that. And this raccoon at the bottom gonna be in full lockstep with it. Like, yeah, that's right. That's right, boss. You tell them, boss. You the boss.
There's no better house than our house.
What place is better than this, boss?
What's better than what we got here? Man, you must be crazy.
History, what does that mean? Google black lynchings in the South and watch the images that come up with black people hanging from.
Not just in the South, Jamal Bowman, but in the North as well.
Exactly.
All the lynchings that took place and still taking place, because we still had a lynching recently, right here in the good old state of Colorado.
Damn, no shit.
They don't even have no. You know what I mean?
They talking about it as a suicide. No, this is a lynching. Ain't nobody gonna hang themselves from a tree. Willingly. Just like they did in what was that? Atlanta, Georgia. Remember when they tried to say that brother jumped off the bridge and hung himself? That don't even make no sense.
So in other words, it's like a suicide by cop thing, huh?
They're not even saying suicide by cop. The PD put on their Twitter page a suicide at Del Mar Park. They didn't even tell people that it was with a noose, that they were hanging from a tree, and of course the ambulance chasers went out, and, made their little performance under the tree,
under the hanging tree,
under the hanging tree.
like so much.
So they're still lynching us. We're still getting lynched.
And then don't want to talk about it. It's nowhere to be found. But like in two places,
In the Wild Wild West.
like you really had to dig for
The
it.
Wild Wild West.
The way to get turned on to it, never known it happened.
Right.
That's how fucking they kept it under.
Shout out to Kukisi because he posted on his Twitter account. That's how I found out.
And then I went to Facebook and then I found the motherfucking the biggest mammy of all.
250 lynchings in Minnesota since 1865. I believe it, crew. Minnesota's a racist ass state too.
They try to say we only have 7 here.
Yeah, they try to say we only have 7 here from what was the time frame? From the early, the mid 1800s to the early 1900s. It said it was only 7 lynchings, but they're not counting the fact that Yeah, a lot of those lynchings went unreported.
Exactly.
What we're talking
And
about
that
right
were
now.
covered up.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to take a break for
Yeah,
about
like the
5
one that
minutes.
we dealing with right now. They're trying to cover that up. Oh, it was a suicide.
They don't know if he's Hispanic or black.
I don't know if he's Hispanic or black.
So she got an investigator to call it and tell her all about it.
Yeah, exactly, crew. You already know. You already know. Colorado was the main home headquarters for the KKK. Facts, crew.
And that's why we were doing our due diligence the other day.
Yeah. It's still a Klan state.
That's what I said.
They were going over at the hearing that we went to. They was going over all the legislators that were damn Ku Klux Klan members.
They had slaves.
Governors and mayors like
slaves.
Walt, like Ben Stapleton, who we had a whole airport named after.
They had slaves.
Yeah, they had slaves, and like I had brought up, it was like California, Shabaka, it was a gold rush state, and they brought their slaves with them to mine the gold.
They said none of these legislators in Colorado brought their slaves.
That's a lie. I didn't believe that in the least. They said, oh, they left them in Missouri, they left them in Kansas. What? No, they brought them. They brought them to mine the gold because there's gold in them hills. Oh, Shabaka went on mute. But yeah, I'll finish the clip.
I was going along. I'm with it.
Trees and white people looking and eating sandwiches. This is America. We gotta deal with it. Why are you in denial?
Stop it! I'm not saying.
Let me let
America's
Mark
the only
respond.
nation that actually fought among itself to free slaves.
So I mean, but what are you suggesting?
You can miss me with that bullshit. No, y'all motherfuckers would have lost that goddamn war if it wasn't for the colored infantry, which was made up of freedmen. Y'all were getting your ass whooped by the South.
Suggesting, Mark. I mean, I think.
And they try to make it seem like, we did this for the greater good. No, you did this to preserve the Union. Even Lincoln said it. So he said if he could keep slavery, he would. So y'all can miss us with that bullshit.
Listen, I don't think it's helpful to be in a sort of pain Olympics around this stuff, right?
Pain. Oh my God. The oppression Olympics. Now it's the pain Olympics. Everybody want to be oppressed all of a sudden.
Yeah, but that's her saying it, right? Black chick.
She's a tether. Yeah. She's a
kind of mammy shit.
She's a tether too. She's not FBA.
Who's a tether?
Abby Phillips. She's not FBA, Shabaka.
Where is she from?
She's from like Nigeria or something. She's one of those first, second generation immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep the peace on trying to keep the peace on Caucasian.
Nazi Network. Yeah, she's trying to. Oh well, it's her show, so she got to try to moderate. That's the white talking point. Pan Olympics or Pain Olympics. Shaking my head. Tether babble. Yep, that's exactly what it is, crew.
They just can't stop.
And crew said they freed the slaves to win the war, not the reverse. The war could have not been won if it not for the freedmen. Exactly, crew.
I think this fucking United States really has happened without the fucking freedmen.
Right.
Black American.
Right.
Or indigenous, aboriginal, foundational. You know what I mean?
Hold on, let me finish the clip. But yeah, that's the truth.
However, I think it is both true that there is a lot of racist violence in this country today, political violence in this country today. The political violence does sometimes target people on the left, sometimes it targets people on the right. But I mean, I don't think it's helpful to sit here and be like, well, it's more on the left, because I actually don't even think that that's true. I mean, I think we've seen plenty of examples of political violence coming from the right, and I think acknowledging that is part of what the conversation's about.
Yeah, but see, again, if you want to get into this tit for tat, right? If you want to get into keeping score in regards to was almost assassinated multiple times, celebrated it.
Because she won't say black people.
You just had a deranged leftist light Jews on fire. Light Jews on fire.
Voter.
Right?
That did happen.
That did happen.
You had a Democrat vice mayor out in California, which, by the way, it's funny how that's not a topic that CNN wants to talk about, right? It's funny how they're not bringing up that. But you just had a vice mayor out of California call on gang members, Latino gangs, to attack ICE officers.
Yeah, that did happen too.
So there is no competition in regards to which side of the aisle is the most responsible for political violence. These people are in denial. You're in denial, and there is no real debate about this. Everything these people bring up in regards to
damn news, man. That fool needs to shut the fuck up.
No, Shabaka, he's a damn tether raccoon.
Oh, okay. That explains everything. Okay.
Yeah, the name of this church is the Black Conservative. So I mean, that just tells you enough.
Oh Lord, that makes me want to vomit. Another Larry Elders.
He's like no worse than that. He's another Jesse Lee Peterson.
Now that's bad. Another Jesse Lee Peterson. That's bad.
Yeah. Oh, Myron Gaines. He's another Myron Gaines.
Okay, I heard the name of Mr. Gaines, but Mr. Gaines is of this type of individual right here.
Yes, Shabaka. He's a mix. He claimed he's from Sudan, but the jury's still out on that. But yeah, he's one of those tethers, Shabaka, that we're always telling you about from the continent that come over here to undermine us and speak against us. Yeah. I mean, that helps you. So a neocolonialist is a tether that comes to the United States to undermine foundational Black Americans, Shabaka.
Okay, and then you do know that Traore, he's getting rid of the neocolonialists there out of
Is he putting a necklace on them?
No, they didn't do the Winnie Mandela job, man. Yeah, now that necklace was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that necklace was cold that they did in Tanzania.
Was he exiling them? What is he doing?
Okay, I think what he is doing is, man, is that I think he's pretty much, and I have to research the story further, but I think he's telling clowns like that, if you ain't with his program, man, you might as well leave the spot and really pretty much don't give a damn where y'all go, but just get out of Burkina Faso.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm gonna let this continue for another 2 minutes. Hopefully this raccoon don't get no more commentary.
Okay.
We still don't know the motivations behind the act, right? These people refuse to acknowledge it. They refuse to acts of violence, which again happens a lot.
Right. When there have been significant actions of assassination attempts against
I mean, I heard you say that, but I think his point was, you're saying that it's about rhetoric on the right. He is saying that there has actually been violence on the right, and you cannot minimize it to just rhetoric when we've seen the violence. That's the point that he's trying to make.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot more of the violence from the left, right? We've seen a lot more, and CNN goes out of their way to minimize it every time it happens. So, anyways, again, that clip was a very
okay. Anyways, we had enough.
Yeah, bypass that idiot, man. It's too early in the morning, man, for me to deal with idiots like that.
Yeah, I agree. That's the only clip I could find, y'all. So
okay, but anyway, you pretty much covered that particular topic there, Che, is because the point did get made, and also too, what the brother was also telling him is that, like the Rodney King case. I don't think he went back to the Dead Valley case. Okay, he brought up the Rodney King case, Trayvon Martin. I think he did Sandra Bland as well.
I think he brought up Dylan Roof too.
Yeah, and Philando Castile situation.
Yeah. It seemed like he was just bad triggered.
Yeah, he was mad triggered. He almost pulled a Mark Lemoyne shield. I thought he was gonna start crying on stage. Like, reminds me of Regal. That raccoon reminds you of Regal. Yeah. Oh my God. That so back up. I have to 86 him again. He was trolling. He was trolling Lady Chase, the revolutionary agenda.
What was he saying? I need a good laugh this morning. What was that clown saying?
A bunch of fuckery, Shabaka. Like, oh, whoever this is, if your plan doesn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, did he give me any regards?
No, Shabaka. It was a bunch of bullshit.
You know, what if you would have heard your voice? You know, he loves
He said he enjoyed being a house nigga and some other dumb shit. And I was just
Okay,
like,
yo, man, that you know what, man? With him saying that crap right there tells me that's a bot.
yes, he
That's
did.
a full boy. Yeah. No, I believe it.
No, this is just making that shit.
What did he say? What did he say?
I don't remember what he said, but let me say that.
He did say that. That's not the first time he said that either.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He came trolling in Lady Chase chat, and I had to 86 him
The only
again.
visitor I ever get, man. You gotta kick him out.
Yeah, because it's a straight up. I said, Rigo, how'd you get in here, Rigo?
Yeah.
I know Twin and Mac 285 already dealt with you, and Jay Militant. So, how did you get in
And myself.
And me.
Well, I'm saying
worse
I'm talking about the moderators in the chat, like they.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. The moderators are the ones with the wrench right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rigo is a menace. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's.
Yeah. He be in
he's
old
like-
boys chat too, the one that you don't like. Well, we don't like really, Shabaka. The one that was talking crazy to you on Lady Che.
Oh yeah.
Oh, who is that?
Runs with or has son in their name, but they anything but.
Okay.
I got to give him to him too because his big bedroom is kicking.
Is that ringing a bell to have son in their name?
Black.
Oh, that fool.
Yeah.
Oh, that cat.
Before he drug his.
Yeah. He California dog walked.
Oh, yeah. Didn't mean to do it to the brother, but he was talking a bunch of BS. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yep,
told
that's
him.
the one, Max 285.
Yeah.
When I say I invoked my attorney with all my light skinny problems.
I guess him and MD is going at it now. Oh my god.
Okay.
I have to call my attorney. Shabaka said court.
Yeah.
All right. And then the whole part about it is.
Oh yeah, MD did piss him off the other day.
What did he say?
MD did. All right. Okay. So now also too, as you was telling about Henrietta Lacks. Okay, and that was another thing.
Ben Cat.
Yeah, you know the experimentation that these universities were putting on us and what have you.
Hold it to his show. He's usually in the chat. What happened, Shabaka?
Okay, and then also to another thing on the itinerary, man, is about the experimentations. Recovered the police.
He called him a Russian. Oh yeah, that's exactly what he called him. He called him a Russian propagandist.
Oh man. Wow. Okay, what is the coonery in the house nigger and in? I think one thing if somebody can come up with a cure for coonery and house niggerism, man, he would be an extremely wealthy man.
Well, MD called Black Sun that.
Oh, that's even tighter. That's even funnier because he's black.
Mm-hmm.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Of course he didn't like it, but he got all in tizzy and his tank top got all knotted up. He's sweating down the back. He hollered in his truck and shit.
Damn, they're about to crash.
Yeah, like he was doing over fucking what was that motherfucking Indian dude's name?
Vivek Basalami.
Yeah. When he was doing that, I was like, what?
Oh, that fool.
Whole fight over
Rami Salami.
Wrong for Vivek.
Okay, now I want to know what does this Brahma ass got to do with the black experience?
Oh, no,
Not a damn thing. Lady was just talking
I was
shit.
reflecting on the past. I was having a reflective moment and giggling about it. Oh well, that was funny though. Russian what?
Russian propagandist.
That's tight.
I was gonna say Russian protagonist.
That's tight because he's black sending to another black dude.
Yeah.
They're both clearly FBA.
Yeah. He's been
That's
doing
what's funny about it. That's the
too
funny
much
part.
propaganda for Russia, apparently. Okay, Shabaka. So there was some more parts to this.
That's tight.
So we covered Cabrea upset about blacks not supporting Latinos.
Well, she's just gonna have to be upset. We sitting this one out.
We should sit out for a couple years to see what happens.
Yeah,
No, we should sit out indefinitely and build up our own house. We should sit out indefinitely.
Yeah.
They just think we're like playing with we're just pretending we're mad. We'll be back. That's how they think. They'll be back. No, we won't.
No, and
if you know, back out on the streets would be knock on wood, and I hope to God this does not happen. But if Carmelo Anthony got convicted,
oh yeah,
yeah,
and then everybody out there within earshot, like and subscribe to the Facebook like page, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. They tore it down. We have to rebuild it. So
yeah, Lady Chase shared it out, Shabaka.
I should show everything. If y'all motherfuckers need to go see the RBA.
Yeah, definitely check out the RBA after this.
Yeah.
Make it a point.
Okay, and then we got other groups did not support blacks who were murdered by the police. They must lie and say that they did, though, Shabaka and Lady Che. Oh, we were at march with Black Lives Matter.
Man, Black Lives Matter is not even a black organization. I mean, come with the real. It's not even a black organization. Them broads went up there, and them three broads.
I thought it was started by three black sisters, Shabaka.
Yeah, who got mansions up there in Topanga Canyon?
Yeah.
They use the black to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when bought the mansions in Topanga Canyon.
Yeah, three black lesbian tethers started Black Lives Matter.
It's just white words on black t-shirts because just use the symbolism.
And they lost. Did we confirm if they lost their homes in the fire?
Yes, sir. One of them did. Near Pacific Palisades. Yeah.
It's that ABK. Oh, they.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, sweet baby black Jesus, for taking that.
Yes.
They didn't earn it. They didn't deserve it. Yay.
Yeah.
Hand claps, hand claps.
Police murders are still going on. We're still getting killed.
Yes, sir.
Race soldiers.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they are still going on. And then too, I just want to mention that Scorpion Squad they had down there in Memphis a while back, who murdered Mr. Nichols. And find out, as we had discovered, is that Mr. Nichols was seeing the ex-wives of one of those black police officers. Now, here's the irony of it. Okay.
Yeah.
If that same ex-wife was seeing a white boy, okay, would they have done the same thing? My money is that they would.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
No. If that same ex-wife of that police officer was seeing a white boy, would they done the same damn thing? Now, why do I believe
big girl seeing a white boy?
If they were white, the whole situation was white.
Or if the officers were white.
Yeah. If the police officer, I'm sorry, no, Lady Che. If Mr. Nichols, been white, was seeing that same officer's ex-wife, would he want it done?
I don't think
and
so.
Of course, the answer is obviously no.
No.
Because see, it reminded me of a case. Okay, y'all could pull this up. Late 1960s, where Los Angeles' first black sportscaster by the name of Stan Duke, okay, had lost his job. He went to prison. And his black wife was seeing a white newscast on a local radio station in LA called KGFJ by the name of Averill Berman. Okay. Had I would have been on Mr. Duke's jury, I would have acquitted Mr. Duke. I would have acquitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have acquitted Mr. Duke. Crime of passion. And then too, but like when we look at Emmett Till and so many of our brothers, all the brother had to do was be accused of it. And then, you know, he sentenced all kind of horrible stuff. Same thing in regard to the Atlanta child murders as well too.
What's this next part? Was that in America or just in general? The Black experimentation.
The what now?
You had on the topic list, Shabaka, Black experimentation.
Oh, yes, sir. That there's like with Henrietta Lacks. Okay, number one, the Tuskegee experiment. You see what I mean? And then, of course, you know, where they had injected these brothers with syphilis. You see, just to see what it does. You see what I'm saying? Just to see what it does. Guinea pigs, human guinea pigs.
I got a 30-minute video to play on exactly that.
Okay, that thing you talking about on the Tuskegee experiment.
It covers that. I think it just covers that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the cold part about it is it was a black woman who was administering these injections.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, add insult to injury.
I got another one that goes into that's all syphilis. I had another one where it went into like all of the stuff that happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cracker speaker now. It's a channel I'm looking for in Pacific that has those kind of videos all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like shout out to Tariq for Hidden Colors because definitely a lot of this in Hidden Colors. Experimentations that went on. Man, the template for all of that. Ooh, this one might be intriguing, Shabaka. It's called How the African Slave Trade Influenced Modern Medicine.
More experimentation.
Yeah, you'll like this one.
Fair use.
Yeah, he's basically a liar, Mac 285. Blacks 100.
That's y'all's friend.
Hey, I found out about him through Yanga.
No, I'm saying that's different.
Oh yeah.
Be civil over here, man.
All right.
I talked to him since that event.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Reveal the darkest depths of humanity's capacity for cruelty. One such chapter is the chilling tale of the medical experiments carried out on enslaved individuals, a grim narrative etched in the shadows of time. Slavery itself, an institution that stripped human beings of their rights and dignity, is well documented. But what remains shrouded in darkness is the extent to which enslaved individuals endured excruciating, painful medical experiments without their consent, a silent suffering that contributed to medical progress at a grave cost. Between the 18th and mid-19th centuries, slave owners and physicians systematically conducted experiments on enslaved people, showing no concern for their well-being or human rights. These experiments ranged from vaccination trials to surgical procedures, all carried out to advance medical knowledge, primarily benefiting white society. it is estimated that tens of thousands of enslaved individuals were subjected to medical experimentation, and a significant number died as a result.
Not louder.
Shockingly, one study found that the average lifespan of a slave subjected to medical experimentation was just 5 years. However, the cruelty did not stop there. Enslaved individuals were consistently dehumanized and treated as mere objects, their bodies utilized as vessels for experimentation, with no regard for their pain or suffering. In this video, we will unveil the untold stories of those who bore the unbearable burden of these experiments. Their names may have been forgotten by history, but their sacrifices and contributions to the advancement of modern medicine are undeniable. As we delve into this harrowing journey, we'll also shed light on how this dark period in our history continues to cast a long shadow over modern society, where African Americans still face unequal access to healthcare and medical discrimination. Before we delve into the video, we kindly ask that you hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video. Your support encourages us to shed light on often
coming up on our platform and
Let's get started.
advertising your shit.
To fully grasp the gravity of this topic, we must first step back and analyze the societal norms of the 19th century. During this period, enslaved people were regarded as property rather than human beings, and consequently, their bodies were frequently used for medical experimentation without their consent or knowledge. One of the most disturbing instances of this practice was the use of enslaved pregnant women for surgical procedures. In the mid-1800s, Dr. J. Marion Sims, often referred to as the father of modern gynecology, conducted a series of experimental surgeries on enslaved women in Alabama. Sims used these women as subjects to refine his surgical techniques for repairing vesicovaginal fistulas, a condition that can result in urine leaking from the bladder into the vagina during childbirth. Shockingly, these surgeries were performed without anesthesia, and Dr. Sims meticulously recorded the agony and suffering these women endured. What is even more distressing is that he believed Black women were impervious to pain and routinely.
Like I said, shout out to Tariq Nasheed, colors. But this bastard was the father of gynecology, y'all. And he was saying that Black women didn't feel pain and do all these sick and cruel experiments to them to test out these objects that went up into women's bodies, their reproductive areas.
Yeah.
He dismissed their complaints of pain and discomfort during these surgeries. In one account, Sims conducted over 30 surgeries on a single woman known as Anarcha, providing no pain relief. He also subjected a new mother named Lucy, who had given birth a few months earlier and was unable to control her bladder, to a grueling hour-long surgery. Patients were required to be entirely naked, kneeling with their heads resting on their hands while bending forward onto their elbows. Lucy endured this agonizing procedure, screaming and crying out in pain as nearly a dozen other doctors observed. As Sims later recounted, Lucy's suffering was extreme. She became critically ill due to his controversial use of a sponge to drain urine from the bladder, ultimately leading to her contracting blood poisoning. In Sims' own words, "I thought she was going to die." It took Lucy 2 to 3 months to fully recover from the operation. Dr. Sims' experimental surgeries on enslaved women went on for several years, and he later applied the knowledge gained from these experiments to perform similar procedures on white women. However, Sims was not the sole practitioner who utilized enslaved individuals for medical experimentation. Another instance is the case of Dr. Robert Marion, a physician from South Carolina renowned for his experiments on enslaved people. Dr. Marion conducted experiments on enslaved individuals to study a diverse range of medical conditions, including smallpox, yellow fever, and typhoid fever. Marion believed that by studying the bodies of enslaved people, he could gain insight into the functioning of the human body as a whole. One of his most infamous experiments involved inoculating enslaved individuals with smallpox, a deadly disease in the late 18th century. Marion believed that this would enable him to study the disease and develop a vaccine. In 1796, he successfully inoculated an enslaved man named Onesimus with smallpox, and Onesimus survived the disease. However, Marion went on to conduct further experiments on enslaved people, often with tragic consequences. In one experiment, he inoculated an enslaved woman with smallpox and used her blood to inoculate others, resulting in several deaths. Marion's experiments were both unethical and profoundly traumatizing for the enslaved individuals subjected to them, who endured painful and perilous procedures without their consent. They were treated as mere objects for experimentation, rather than as human beings with rights and dignity. Marion was not alone in his fascination with smallpox. Dr. John Queer, a physician from Virginia, purchased Onesimus in the hope of gaining insights into the process of inoculation. Onesimus's immunity to smallpox intrigued Queer, leading him to conduct multiple experiments. He inoculated Onesimus with the smallpox virus, meticulously observed and documented his symptoms, and extended these experiments to other enslaved individuals under his care, and even members of his own family. Another prominent figure in the history of medical experimentation on enslaved people is Dr. Samuel Cartwright. Dr. Cartwright, a physician and plantation owner in Louisiana during the mid-1800s, is best known for his theories on drapetomania, a purported mental illness he claimed afflicted enslaved individuals attempting to escape slavery.
Yeah, that's the bastard that came up with that drapetomania. Said that there was something mentally wrong with you if you wanted to flee from the plantation.
Damn. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
According to Cartwright, drapetomania resulted from a mental derangement and could be cured through various medical treatments, including amputations, whippings, and other forms of physical punishment. He also asserted that the condition was hereditary, suggesting that enslaved individuals exhibiting symptoms of drapetomania should be prevented from having children. To substantiate his theories, Cartwright conducted experiments on enslaved people, measuring their skull sizes and shapes, observing their behavior, and administering various medical treatments to those he deemed afflicted with drapetomania. Cartwright even invented another disorder, dysesthesia ethiopica, which purportedly affected both the mind and body. In 1851, he published an article in the New Orleans Medical and Surgical Journal describing this supposed disorder he had observed in enslaved individuals. Cartwright claimed that dysesthesia ethiopica was characterized by symptoms such as insensibility to pain, diminished understanding, and a propensity to steal. He contended that this condition stemmed from physical and psychological differences between white and black people. Cartwright argued that black individuals possess thicker skin and less sensitive nervous systems, rendering them less susceptible to pain. Furthermore, he posited that they exhibited childlike mentalities and a proclivity for theft, attributing these characteristics to their supposed inherent predisposition to idleness and thievery. Tragically, Dr. Cartwright's theories gained acceptance within the medical community at the time, further perpetuating racist beliefs.
And they actually believe that.
According to Dr. Cartwright, the only means to cure dysesthesia ethiopica was through...
Yeah, they do. And they still believe that bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, Shabaka. They believed it then, and they still believe it now. That's why they always talk about we commit the most crime and per capita and all nonsense. We have a propensity for this and that. That's where their rationale comes from. So you gotta wonder where the hell crackers come up with this dumb shit. This is where. And this was the medical field. Should be 1 or 10 areas of human activity because they control that shit and they've been using that shit for diabolical reasons. Like we just displayed, using us as guinea pigs.
Dr. Frankenstein type of shit.
Yeah.
through intensifying forced labor, strict discipline, and, at times, resorting to physical punishment. He believed that these measures would cure the disorder, rendering the enslaved individuals more productive and obedient. Today, Dr. Cartwright's theories and experiments are rightfully regarded as both unscientific and deeply problematic. They were not only used to justify the cruel treatment of enslaved people, but also perpetuated the notion that they were inherently inferior to their white counterparts. Unfortunately, the use of enslaved people as test subjects did not cease with the abolition of slavery. It persisted well into the 20th century, with Black African Americans frequently serving as test subjects for various medical experiments. One infamous example is the Tuskegee syphilis study, which commenced in 1932 and continued until 1972. This
40
study,
years.
conducted by the U.S. Public Health Service, involved 600 Black African American men, with 399 of them having syphilis and 201 being free of the disease. Shockingly, the men were neither informed of their syphilis diagnosis nor provided with treatment, even after penicillin became widely available in the 1940s. The researchers aimed to observe the natural progression of the disease, leading to severe health consequences such as blindness, heart disease, and other ailments, and causing many to lose their lives. Another troubling case involves Henrietta Lacks, whose cancer cells were extracted without her consent in 1951 and utilized for medical research without her family's knowledge or consent. These cells, known as HeLa cells, have played a pivotal role in numerous medical experiments and have significantly contributed to the development of treatments for various diseases. However, the Lacks family remained unaware of the utilization of Henrietta's cells for more than 2 decades and received no compensation for the commercial use of her cells. It is vital to recognize that these are not isolated incidents, but rather part of a pervasive pattern of systemic racism in the medical field. Black African Americans have historically been marginalized in medical research and subjected to unethical medical experiments without their consent. This has led to a profound distrust of the medical system within the Black African American community, with serious implications for public health. For many years, medical professionals, scientists, and researchers exploited enslaved individuals as test subjects, often without their consent or knowledge, to advance medical research and other experiments. From the infamous Tuskegee syphilis study to the use of enslaved women in gynecological experiments, these transgressions were conducted on a large scale, with little consideration for the lives and well-being of the victims. In conclusion, it is crucial to question why Western media consistently portrays the continent of Africa in a negative light. The truth is that Africa's substantial mineral resources, strategic metals, and natural resources are pivotal contributors to the wealth of many Western nations, including those in Europe, America, Japan, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand.
Why don't you just say the rest of the world?
And its people in the media arises from a foundation of white supremacy. This harmful practice must be acknowledged and addressed by those affected, whether in Africa or the diaspora. It is vital to work toward a more balanced and nuanced portrayal of Africa in the media, one that reflects its rich cultural and intellectual heritage and acknowledges its significant contributions to various fields such as mathematics, science, medicine, architecture, language, metaphysics, religion, and spirituality. By challenging negative stereotypes and promoting a more accurate and positive image of Africa, we can strive for a fairer and more equitable global society. It is time for Western media to recognize the harm caused by their negative depictions of Africa and to assume responsibility for their role in perpetuating detrimental stereotypes. Only then can we move closer to creating a more inclusive and equitable world for all.
Well, there's no such
Please
thing
do
as a
not
black
forget to like
racist.
this video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos to help us disseminate the truth about the experiences of Black individuals and to provide a platform for their narratives. We value your thoughts and invite you to share your opinions in the comments section. If you think this story enlightened you, click on our next video for an even deeper revelation of our unspoken past. Thank you for watching.
You're not welcome, Tether.
Yeah. And you see, and once again, like the X-Man had said, and it's so true to this day, this boss we sick syndrome. I mean, just the practice of that bullshit, man, all the way back into that time to up to this time, man, is incredible. It's not so much incredible. What they call that? A phenomenon.
A phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon.
Like a
It's a phenomenon. No, it's a phenomenon. Anytime that I sit up here and look at Jesse Lee Peterson, Larry Elders, Leo Terrell, Pineapple Head, Eric Adams in New York,
Don't
Brandon
forget
John.
Don't forget Tim Scott. Don't forget Joyless Green. Don't forget River Jones.
Yeah, and Candace Owens.
Mark Lamoy Shield. Don Lemonade.
Wow. Oh yeah, Don Lemonade. Yeah, and I mean it is just incredible. And the sad part about it is, people, is that they expect us to go for this bullshit. And then when we sit up there and show facts, show data, show some common sense, right?
Oh, Dr.
They
Kubo.
still want us, yeah, and then they still want us to bump our head against a wall, pillar, tree, brick wall, and
Dr. Umar around talking about the school was vandalized and that we're next, as if it wasn't first, like Nina Turner said. It was the first that was under attack from racism and white supremacy. The hell you talking about? We next? Yeah, reparations or no snow bunny if you want reparations.
wow. Well, only thing I can say about that is this: look at Carolyn Bryant, look at the O.J. Simpson case. Yeah, I mean,
that was responsible for getting whole black communities burnt to the ground and bombed from the air.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And just like when I went through Tulsa, Oklahoma, man, you could feel it in the air. Because I was down here in Tulsa on the Black Wall Street, the Gap Band Street, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine.
Yeah, my
And
my godmother specifically, she's from. Oh, nice. They're in their 90s now. They've had this black-owned business on 5 Points for like 60 years.
Okay, well, God bless him. God bless him, and it's a wonder.
But they're from. She's exactly from where you were at, Shabaka. Madelia Stagger. She's exactly from there.
Okay. Yeah, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. And then they had plaques, and they had plaques of the original businesses, embedded into the sidewalk.
And we didn't acknowledge Viola Fletcher and Leslie. What's her name? What's her last name? Bedford. They are the two remaining survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Oh yeah.
We
and
met
Oklahoma's.
Hold on, Shabaka, I'm not done. We met by Fletcher's brother, Van Hugh Ellis, before he passed away at 102 here in Denver for mayor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Bruce Gibson passed too. That's who the If you've been to Denver, Shabaka, you know where the East Side Health Clinic is.
Yes, I've seen it.
That whole strip over there that was owned or built by Bruce Gibson Sr. We met his son before he passed away. He passed away the same. He was going to support me too. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And the only thing I could say on that there, black family, we are all we got.
Yeah, that same weekend.
Yeah. Huh?
I'm a believer. We made him a believer because he's one of Jeff's people.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hardly hear you, Lady Che. You're in the background.
It's really hard and to give him a speech, right? He was giving a presentation when he was running for mayor. And when Jesse was running for mayor, we made Bruce Gibson's son, Junior, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Around about Jesse and his platform. And he was going to support him. And he died the same weekend.
Yeah.
So we met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was saying Kappa 2 towers. You know, there's the Kappa towers, and they just built the Kappa 2 towers. And I just moved one of the elders who was staying there at the time out up there about 2 weeks ago.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, that's really bad, man. You know what I'm saying? So what it is, as we've been emphasizing what's going on with the last 7, 8 years now, is that we have to be self-sufficient on what we're doing. And then also, too, please hit that the PayPal account right there. Says because we're out of money and we need help right there. So, like I said, we don't mind, you know, these other individuals, you know, sharing their content.
Oh, Shabaka, it's the opposite of sharing your content.
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It's the opposite. We're sharing their content.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So, but please, you know, reciprocate and share ours. You know what I mean?
They got the memo. I've let several people in the New Black media know to start
okay.
sharing our content. So they've been doing it. They shared the hell out of my reparations videos.
Okay, you faded out.
They shared the reparations hearing videos. Those have gotten hundreds of views.
Okay. So did they mention us?
Yes, they've shared the content.
Oh, okay.
No, on all social media platforms.
Okay. Okay. And then also, too, to our listeners out there, go to the Facebook like page of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced and follow it, is because it got tore down twice in the last 17 days. So we're making a third attempt to build it back up. And then the way you could tell the page is that it doesn't have our classic photograph on there no more. It's got a picture of Lamert Park. Okay.
What did you say?
Well, it's a building, right?
Huh?
It's a building, right?
It's the building, right?
Yeah, it's a couple of buildings there, and also too, but it was some buildings that were far away. It's the one with the buildings on it, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, got it, shared it.
Okay, Lady Che got it and she shared it.
I'm banned from Twitter.
She's banned from Twitter. I'm banned from
She's
Facebook.
what?
She's banned from Twitter. I'm banned from Facebook.
Okay, all right, and then please just invert it. I mean, you know, Lady Che shared to Facebook, Brother Che shared to Twitter, you know what I mean? And I won't be sharing it is because it really took a lot of effort in there. And believe it or not, people over $200 have been poured off into it. You see, believe it or not. Okay, so we definitely need some donations over here, out here in this desert, okay? Now, for you OTBs out there, we don't mind you coming on our platform, but two things that's not going to happen. You're not going to tell us our history, and you're not going to tell us what to do. You see?
Yeah. All right, so we got one more topic about it.
Okay, what's the last topic?
Not Love and Happiness, Al Green. R.I.P. to him. But Al Green down in Texas.
Oh, yeah, down there in the great state of Texas. Down there, Governor Bush. Yeah. So Al Green, bless his heart, the congressman for Texas, okay, is trying to introduce articles of impeachment against what's this Trump's third regime? Is this his second regime or third regime? His second regime, okay. So okay, his second regime, and keep in mind, people, as that impeachment just simply means it's like the cop giving you a traffic ticket or a ticket to appear in court. That's all what impeachment means, that he is to appear in court. Then, of course, you know, they set up the kangaroo court with the Senate as the jury and the Supreme Court justice presiding over the proceedings. So the only thing that the impeachment means is that we got charges to bring against the chief executive. But no president has ever been convicted and removed from office.
Not even Slick Willie.
Huh? Yeah, not even Slick Willie. Okay, not even Andrew Johnson. They say, not Trump. Yeah, and Trump, wait a minute, wasn't Trump impeached twice already in his first regime?
Yeah, 2 or 3. The murder Black family with Shabaka wanted me to talk about it, or wanted us to talk about it. So I'm gonna play this first video from the Hill, and apparently he has it on the YouTube channel.
Okay, you faded out.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Okay, barely. You sound real far away. And there's something in the background, like an air conditioning or a fan.
There's nothing on. I think that's on your end.
You think it's what?
I think it's on your end.
Okay, I could barely make out what you said.
I said I think it's on your end.
Sound like that you got a jet plane flying over. Okay, it diminished a little bit.
Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And I rise today in the name of government of the people, by the people, for the people. I rise today because our country is nearing a moment of decision. I rise because we are at the intersection of democracy and autocracy. I rise to announce that at this moment in time, I have filed HRES 537. HRES 537 is a privileged resolution. HRES 537 has been filed because I believe that the President of the United States has committed an impeachable act. HRES 57 addresses abuse of presidential powers by disregarding the separation of powers, devolving American democracy into an authoritarian government, usurping congressional power to declare war. Mr. Speaker, I take no delight in what I'm doing. I do this because I love my country. I do this because I understand that the Constitution is going to be meaningful or it will be meaningless. I do it because I understand that the President of the United States of America has a duty to consult Congress before taking this country to war. I do it because no one person should have the power to take over 300 million people to war without consulting with the Congress of the United States of America. I do this because if I do not, this authoritarian president that we currently have will continue to assume power. He has already instigated an assault on the citadel of democracy, the capital of the United States of America. He went so far as to pardon the persons who were actually involved in the assault.
Check 1, 2, 1.
He has denied persons due process of the law. I believe that if we do not take immediate action, this authoritarian president will not only devolve the country into authoritarianism, I believe he is a would-be dictator who would become a dictator. So I today announce that later today, I will bring these articles of impeachment to the floor and I will call for a vote. I believe that the hour of decision is upon us and we all have to decide, are we going to go down and choose the path of democracy, or we allow ourselves to choose the low road of autocracy? I believe that this country has come too far to allow a single person to declare war without conferring with the Congress of the United States of America. This is where I stand. This is what I will do, and I do it in the name of my country that I love dearly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back to
Policy of January 3rd, 2025. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, for 30 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. A liberated Democrat, unbought, unbossed, unafraid, and most feared by President Donald John Trump. Most feared because the president recently tweeted that he would have me removed from Congress because I have indicated that I would bring articles of impeachment. This is a president who has caused us to understand that the norms of society mean very little to him. This is a president who seems to think that he can rule by executive order. But Mr. Speaker, I would have you and all who can hear this and see what I'm saying to know that the day of decision is near. And I believe that as a person who is armed with the axe of truth, not afraid to slam it into the tree of circumstance and let the chips fall wherever they may, I believe that as such a person, I am duty bound to bring articles of impeachment to the floor of the House of Representatives. I will do so because I believed what before he was elected this time. I believe what I said then, and I believe it now. This president is a threat to our democracy. He has done things that would cause us to conclude, those of us who have observed closely, that he disrespects the Constitution. He took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. He disrespects the Constitution. He disrespects the notion that a person should have the right to say, you have the wrong person, to say to the authorities by way of the Great Writ, you have the wrong person, to say to the authorities by way of the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution, no person deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. He has not honored that Constitution in those words. This president does not honor Marbury versus Madison. Judicial review, time honored. He dishonors it because he dishonors the decisions of the court. He believes that judges who would rule against him should be impeached. He does not respect the fact that there is a separation of powers. He believes that he is the power, but he's not. And he must be brought before this House. He must be brought before this House because if he disrespects the court, If he refuses to honor the April 10th order requiring him to facilitate the return or the release of a person who was taken from this country to another country, Supreme Court mandate, he has said that he can do it, but he hasn't. If he refuses to honor the Supreme Court and federal courts and demeans the judges, calls for their impeachment, if my colleagues across the aisle decline to bring him into some sense of order as it relates to obeying the orders of courts, if they decline to do so, then what is left? Impeachment. Whether anyone else agrees with me or not, I want my record to show that at a time when democracy was at risk, I brought impeachment to the attention of the Congress. You can do it for two reasons at least, maybe others, but two that I will call to your attention. One, to remove a president. To remove a president. I don't know that will happen. This time, I plan to bring impeachment more than once. I did it before, and it led to the impeachment of the president, and he lost an election as a result of that, I believe. But I plan to bring these articles of impeachment. Removal is a possibility. But then there is also the deterrent effect of articles of impeachment. They can be used to say to a president, if you don't behave, if you don't cease and desist with what you're doing, then you can be removed from office. I trust that this will become the message that the president will receive. However, knowing what I know about him, I doubt that he will receive the message as intended. I think that it will cause him to become a greater bully and to do more and say more things that are unacceptable, to try to normalize his dictatorial behavior. Dictatorial in that he believes that the law should be followed when he sees the law on his side, and that it should be somehow avoided when it's not. Dictatorial behavior. The kind of behavior that you see emanating from dictators. I believe that this dictatorial behavior has to be put in check, because we have a president who preaches law and order, but he doesn't mean law and order. He means order and law. He means allow me to do whatever I choose, and then you find some law to justify my behavior. That's not law and order, that's order and law. And that's what he believes. I believe that we have to do what I am about to do. And I trust that there will be others who will join in. But if no one else does, I want you to know that while I am censured, I'm not silenced. That this is only the genesis of this process. The revelations are yet to come. And in the revelations, I assure you, we will come to conclusions that will cause this president to be removed. We are now into the countdown for impeachment. This countdown will manifest itself in articles being brought to the floor of the House of Representatives next week. I fully intend to do so. And for edification purposes, that means that I will first notify my colleagues by way of written word that these are my intentionalities. And thereafter, I will come to the House and I will read the articles of impeachment. After they have been read, some time will pass before they will come back to the floor for a second reading, 2 legislative days. At that time, the articles will be read again. I will call for a vote on the articles of impeachment. Those who will vote for it will be known as persons who have supported what I believe to be the last effort that we have to prevent this president from becoming a full-blown dictator. He is right now a de facto dictator. he has the potential to becoming full-blown. What do I mean by de facto? Because we're in the nascency of his dictatorship. Yes, someone someday will write about the first 100 days of his dictatorship. So we're into the nascency of it. He is testing to see if there are people who have the courage to put him in check. And if he doesn't see that, then we'll go on to another stage of it. So I'm going to come to the floor, read these articles. Then they will be read again a second time. I will ask for the vote. There will probably be a motion to table. The motion to table means that if it prevails, the articles will not go forward and have the debate and proceed to the possibility of a vote on the actual articles. A motion to table. This is what has happened in the past. Those who vote for the motion to table will oppose the articles of impeachment. Those who vote against the motion of table will be sending a message to the world that they want this to proceed and that these articles ought to be given a fair hearing before this House of Representatives. That's what the motion to table will ultimately bring us to a decision that we will have to consider. It will be a moment of truth, an hour of decision, but I believe we have to do this. I believe we have to do it because if we're going to wait until there are tanks rolling into major cities at the capitals of cities, it'll be too late. If we're going to wait until you read and hear about it in some major newspaper that president has metamorphosed into a dictator, it will be too late. We have to stop him as soon as possible. As soon as possible is the means of doing it by way of impeachment. I believe that he will be impeached again, but I also know this. If we don't,
the scared
and if he continues in the vein and the methodology that he has been proceeding with, if he does this, then there is one other last word, and that will be we the people. We the people, with our voices, with our movement, with our peaceful protest, we the people will make that change. This country will not tolerate a de facto dictator, and it surely will not tolerate and should not tolerate a full-blown dictator. De facto dictator because, in fact, he is a dictator, not announced, but that's what he is, ruling by executive order. This country was not designed by the framers of the Constitution to be ruled by executive order, such that the president would just ignore the orders. That thing's knowing that he has lawyers with unlimited resources, and those who would challenge him are limited in resources. So his dictatorial character says to him, you can let that go on to the Supreme Court and you can ignore the court. Flout the orders of the court. Don't have to worry about that. You've got the Treasury of the United States of America backing you. You've got an Attorney General who knows nothing but yes, no way to say to you, Mr. President, reconsider. Your Secretary of State is going to do a similar thing. No one around you is going to challenge you and say to you that this is not the appropriate thing to do. So yes, he has the characteristics of a de facto dictator.
Can't even get his story straight.
Behavior being exhibited. And as a result, the moment of truth is upon us. Next week, we shall have the opportunity to stand on the principles that I believe were exhibited when we were campaigning, when we were saying this president would harm our democracy, that he was a threat. This will be our opportunity. I pray that every person will vote your conscience. I'm not asking anybody to vote a certain way. I'm telling you how I will vote. I speak for no one but myself and those who agree with me. But I assure you that there will be at least one vote to impeach Donald John Trump. President of the United States. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields.
Here's what's going to happen with this kangaroo Congress. This clown get up here, man.
Apparently, this is the second time.
Speech, man, for about 12 times. They're going to ignore him.
He got another one, Shabaka. Shabaka, he got another one. In addition to the ridiculous shit, he has another House Resolution 537 to impeach Trump for bypassing Congress on war with Iran.
Okay. And still I rise. And I rise today in the name
Man, will you quit quoting my Angelo, man? Shit.
I rise today because our country is nearing a moment of decision.
Boss,
I rise
sick, boss.
We're at the intersection of democracy and
sick,
autocracy. I rise to announce that at this moment in time, I have filed HRES 537. HRES 537 is a privileged resolution. HRES 537 has been filed because I believe that the President of the United States has committed an impeachable act. HRES 537 addresses abuse of presidential power by disregarding the separation of powers, evolving American democracy into an authoritarian government, usurping congressional power to declare war. Mr. Speaker, I take no delight in what I'm doing. I do this because I love my country. I do this because I understand that the Constitution is going to be meaningful or it will be meaningless. I do it because I understand that the President of the United States of America has a duty to consult Congress before taking this country to war. I do it because no one person should have the power to take over 300 million people to war without consulting with the Congress of the United States of America. I do this because if I do not, this authoritarian president that we currently have will continue to assume power. He has already instigated an assault on the citadel of democracy, the capital of the United States of America. He went so far as to pardon the persons who were actually involved in the assault. He has denied persons due process of the law. I believe that if we do not take immediate action, this authoritarian president will not only devolve the country into authoritarianism, I believe he is a would-be dictator who would become a dictator. So I today announce that later today, I will bring these articles of impeachment to the floor and I will call for a vote. I believe that the hour of decision is upon us and we all have to decide, are we going to go down and choose the path of democracy or we allow ourselves to choose the low road of autocracy? I believe that this country has come too far to allow a single person to declare war without conferring with the Congress of the United States of America. This is where I stand. This is what I will do. And I do it in the name of my country that I love dearly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Texas, Mr. Green is recognized for 60 minutes.
Is this a vote?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Okay, I have to go because I have to go keep this bill on. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, we can start making our close on that.
Okay, all right, yeah, and so thank you for having me on. Okay,
I mean, if he wants to leave, he can. He has to go. So give us your closing statement on your way out, Shabaka.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. So closing statement, we making some more developments. Please, everybody, go to the new Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced Like page on Facebook. and click it and share it. You know what I'm saying? And what have you, because we got knocked down, so we're getting back up to beat the count. Okay, and it's a new page, and
look. This is shit I'm talking about, Shabaka. This motherfucker, he's sitting here doing all this performative theater, and then he calls out attacks on trans, LGBT, alphabet emoji, elbow smiley face, rights, and defends equality.
Defends equality.
I'm ready to see where it goes from there.
Okay, so this dude wants to get up here like the alphabet, right? This dude right here.
I think they're supposed to vote on that this week coming up.
Oh, your speaker's up. Go ahead, Shabaka.
All right, okay. So, huh?
We'll see you later on tonight.
All right, okay. All righty. Okay, so I'll talk to y'all later. All right, okay.
Okay. Thank you for joining us for Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase.
Okay, and the air date of this episode was June the 28th, 2025. Okay. All right, and then of course next week, as we know, people, is going to be the 4th of their lives again, and it will be interesting. But I'm not going to say it because that'll be too much like right. Okay, folks, I'm out.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for joining us, Shabaka. See you later for Front Line Blacc News.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, so this damn Al Green, dude, man.
Al Green just doing a lot of talking and not a lot of getting the vote on.
We already played this already. The vote hasn't started yet, Lady J. He just introduced it. They're not gonna vote on it until this week coming up.
Well, everybody has no differences, no opposition.
Not that I've seen so far.
Yeah, he could be the only dumbass up there by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted everybody to know that he did it again.
Yep, again.
I just want everybody to know that it was me that issued this article of impeachment.
Again.
This dictatorial. Dictatation, or what do you say?
Dictatorial.
Dictatorial. Ain't nasty as hell.
Yeah, they tabled it. So that's the latest one that they tabled it, Lady J.
Oh man, I was hoping.
Welcome back. As President Donald Trump travels back to Washington from the NATO summit in the Netherlands, Democrats continue to struggle to find a coherent strategy to oppose him. One idea that's likely not going to work anytime soon is impeachment. House Democrat Al Green from Texas, he introduced a resolution accusing the president of failing to notify or seek authorization from Congress before the U.S. launched strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. It was not successful as lawmakers Tuesday voted overwhelmingly to table Green's resolution, effectively killing it. Well, more than 100 Democrats joined all Republicans in voting to table this resolution. 2 Georgia Democrats are in that group. That's Lucy McBath and Sanford Bishop. Hank Johnson, Nikema Williams, and David Scott, they voted to move this resolution forward. But again, with that specific resolution tabled, it will not come up again.
The chair now recognizes
a nothing burger.
Oh, what was the thing about Jasmine Crocker where she was acting a fool? I kind of went on one. Her hair looked like somebody grabbed it, to get some film action. Her hair was all a mess. She looked like she'd been tussling with somebody in the hallway closet. You know what I mean? It looked like that, like, bitch, check her out. Like somebody grabbed her by her weave.
Yeah.
Just one hand and knocked the dust off it.
She got into it with Melania.
What was the one that Tariq was talking about?
I think this is it. All about the leadership.
All right, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett took time out of the House Judiciary hearing on immigration visas to insult First Lady Melania Trump and her legal status.
Yeah, Texas Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Lance Gooden, was at that hearing. He joins us now. And Congressman, I'm just going to read part of what she said in what I would call a very serious hearing on a very serious issue that impacts our country's immigration and ultimately decides who comes into our country. Yet the Congresswoman decides to use her time to say the following. Melania, the First Lady, a model. And when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, and Naomi Campbell. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't math. And here, this, of course, the Einstein approach is what this approach to visas is called. Your reaction to that display, again, from a sitting U.S. Congresswoman against the First Lady, mind you, who championed an anti-bullying program in her first term.
Well, first of all, I think the First Lady is magnificent, as do most of the country. I am very proud of her and her accomplishments. And I wouldn't dare question her history, how she came to the United States, or what she's done, because what she's done is magnificent. And I'm so proud of her and the work that she's doing as our First Lady. As for this hearing and my colleague criticizing her, I think the best thing to do here would be to ignore it. I think that the radical view of the Democrats is one where they want to ignore the open borders that have destroyed our country. And I find it pretty rich that they would go after someone like the First Lady who came here as an immigrant, like millions of Americans with her who came here the right way. All the while they've turned a blind eye at the open borders over the last 4 years of Biden that have really destroyed our nation. They're okay with the riots in LA. They're okay with destroying small businesses and violence and unrest, but they want to go back in time and rehash the immigration path of Americans who did it the right way. And I think that's a shame. And I think the American people see through that. And I think the American people are happy that Republicans are in charge and that there is law and order being restored. The border is secure. We've had no crossings in the last several months, no illegal crossings. And now we are working to ship the illegals out of this country. The big, beautiful bill will do that. And I believe that's the path we need to go in. And I think spending time acknowledging radical comments and hearings is a waste of time.
Okay, Congressman, because it is, as you say, a waste of time, let's move on to Iran, because that's certainly is not. And when it comes to Iran, President Trump said that the United States and Iran will talk next week, with Iran in the weakest position it has ever been in before. But with that in mind, Democrats are still very angry that President Trump took military action in the first place. Listen here.
It's not been briefed on this in a timely fashion.
Republican Party in Congress that has decided the American people are not entitled to know anything.
We were attacked today. That didn't exist here. So the president should have come to Congress.
So the Senate, led by Democrats, this vote would be led by Democrats, are expected to vote on barring President Trump from taking future military action in Iran. That vote could happen as soon as today. How do you expect that to go?
I don't think it'll pass, but let me just be clear here. Democrats are disgraceful with respect to how Donald Trump has handled this and with respect to how they are criticizing this. Democrats are disgraceful in the way that they have ignored the Constitution over the last 5 years. They had no problem with an open border. They had no problem with anything Joe Biden did. And when Donald Trump comes and brings peace to the Middle East, suddenly they're outraged. So the American people see through this. I think it's shameful that Democrats are spending time criticizing our military. They're criticizing our president when they said nothing about the open borders. They've got a problem with the military restoring order in Los Angeles, restoring order in the Middle East, and I've got no problem with it. I think what we're doing with this country and the direction we're going is a fantastic direction, and I thank the president for it, and I think Democrats need to get a grip.
And also, with a Congress that leaks like this, Do you really want these Congresspeople being briefed before a secretive mission like that?
I
That remains to be the question.
I wouldn't trust Democrats with secret information at all.
Understood. We'll leave it there. Congressman Lance Gooden, thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews.
I'll tell you, your hair was
Ousted MSNBC host Joy Reid is barely hanging on with the Democratic Party. Those are her words, not mine. The lifelong bleeding heart Democrat went scorched earth on the current state of the party. She made these comments during a recent appearance on The Breakfast Club. Let's watch.
I've been a Democrat since I was old enough to vote, but I'm barely hanging on, honestly, because at this point, the party is not bigger than the future of my kids. Who cares what the party label is? Give me an effective fighter. If Jasmine Crockett is the most effective fighter, give me Jasmine Crockett. And I really don't care what you have to move around or who you have to disappoint in order to give me her. Just give me her.
Reid's support of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett comes after the progressive firebrand lost a bid to become the top Democrat on the House Oversight Panel. That post instead went to California Representative Robert Garcia.
Social media users had a field day talking about Reid's comments. Alternative news account Breaking 911 writes, the Democrat Party is screwed when you lose Joy Reid. I mean, they're losing her, but it's not like she's joining the Republican Party. So that's always the catch here. She's, irritated that the Democratic Party doesn't fight more or is not progressive, or I would probably argue in her case, she is one of those commentators who would like the Democratic Party, I think it's not unfair to say this, to lean more into a kind of progressive cultural identity politics view of things. That I've watched a lot of her commentary that, seems to motivate her. I think that's not a politically winning agenda for the Democratic Party. This is someone who said she was so not exactly surprised, but dismayed that Kamala Harris could not win despite having, the support of, she was, listing off celebrities. Queen Latifah even, got involved, and Queen Latifah never gets involved. That just seemed to be a kind of out of touchness. I'm saying this gently because I don't mean to beat up on her now that she's no longer has her gig at MSNBC, but
I don't.
An out of touchness, I think.
Yeah, I would be a defender of Joy Reid, certainly to a degree. I mean, I thought her show was good. I think it's a shame that she doesn't have it anymore. I don't agree with everything she says, of course.
I think it's a shame she doesn't have it anymore as well, because I enjoyed reacting to it.
Oh, well, we have different motivations for lamenting Joy's departure from the MSNBC lineup. On the point about identity politics, I mean, I think even within that, you have to fillet out certain things or different things within that umbrella or under that umbrella have different political appeals. And so Joy Reid, included in that interview with the Breakfast Club, was talking about her children growing up as Black people in America right now and having some concerns about that. I don't think that's an electorally losing argument or a bad argument for Democrats writ large to make. I think that is actually perfectly relevant. Where I think the electoral consequences of the identity stuff get more complicated are things like the trans issue, where I think there can be much more good faith differences as to what is fair and what is unfair, particularly things like trans people in sports. I do think you made an important point right off the top, which is Joy Reid may be hanging on with the Democratic Party, but because she is to the left of where they are, and she defended in that interview Karine Jean-Pierre, who you may remember, Karine's launching a book sometime soon, and she said that she now views herself as an independent. She didn't, I think it's pretty obvious, mean that she now regards herself as someone in the center ground who thinks that Republicans have some good ideas. I assume, we'll have to ask her about this if we can when the book comes out, but I assume she means she feels the label of Democrat can be too constraining. Or maybe that she feels that she's disappointed with the party in various ways.
My understanding of Karine Jean-Pierre's dropping out of the Democratic Party is, I think, a pretty cynical move. Or
I would
sell a book. And also that she doesn't, Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't want, she feels annoyed. I believe her perspective is that the Democratic Party betrayed Joe Biden, and that's why she doesn't like the Democratic Party, which is not a good sell, I don't think.
Well, I would want to have a longer conversation about that and exactly whether that is her sole issue of dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party. Because, I mean, she does think that, because that was, I think, written in the publicity material for the book. But it'll be interesting to see what the broader argument is. My point really is, whether it's Joy Reid or Karine Jean-Pierre or anyone else, the dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party shouldn't be mistaken for some softening of their opposition to the Republican Party or conservative beliefs. That's not what's happening here.
Yes, although if it means that fewer people to turn out to vote for Democrats, even if the Republican Party is not picking up those votes, if those votes are going to, I guess, the Green Party or just to no one, because they're like, well, I'm not going to bother to vote for these people, I don't like them. That is to the Republican Party's benefit, even if people are not coming into the fold.
I remember a former occupant of this chair would have different things to say about that, I think, but I actually happen to agree with you.
Yeah, well, and I think it's perfectly, it can be a valid use of your, I'm not disdaining this strategy. I think it's a perfectly valid use of your vote to withhold it. If even your party does not cater to you, then they're not going to get their vote. I mean, I'm a third party voter. I voted Libertarian in every election of my lifetime. If the Democratic or Republican parties made a serious overture for my vote, it's conceivable I could vote for either of them. They don't really come anywhere near, so I don't vote for them. Immediately following the election, when Elon Musk was going to enter the government and it was all about Doge and cutting government spending, I said to myself, had I known this is what it was going to be like, I might very well have voted for Trump. Now we've gotten that was a brief period of time, and now we're getting back to tariff and immigration policies, and even a Middle East policy to some degree that I don't like. I'm relieved I voted for libertarians.
Well, your moment in the Elon Musk-related sun has come to it.
Yes, unfortunately. Next up on Rising, New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani is catching heat from both sides of the aisle after his primary victory. Stay tuned.
All right, got one more for y'all.
Motherfucker looks weird.
Yeah.
He looks fat.
It's blonde.
That's McCrockett,
Here we go.
U.S. Congresswoman.
Oh, you got his shirt all over.
There's a guy named Jesse Waters. Jesse is going to get her a good white man. Make it happen. Here it is.
As far as Jasmine goes, I researched her, and it's never good when I do that. I found out she's single. She's 43. She's never been married. And I'm trying to figure out what makes her tick. I think I can set her up with someone.
Oh, my God.
I know a guy in D.C., Emily. He's white. Hopefully that's not a problem, but he will make her happy. And maybe then she will not hate everybody else besides herself so much. So if you're interested, I will set it up. And it would be my pleasure to do it.
Oh, God.
Wait a minute now, Jesse. I know a guy in Atlanta, Georgia. Put up the picture full mass. Sir, you are out of damn line. And we already know you're projecting your own fantasies while broadcasting. Sir, that is completely unprofessional.
He's trying to play matchmaker with white people.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't even know what to say to this. So one, sexism, but it's Fox News. So it's almost normalized in their culture, right? It's not even a thing there. But I don't think there has been an equal commentary about a male who happens to be single. Trump is basically single. And them setting that person up with, a good woman, perhaps. But Ms. Crockett, the person that they love to hate, and I really believe they all have admiration for this sister secretly, and it projects in moments like this. What say you?
I mean, you have to wonder if there isn't a little bit of that present. And I will say, Doc, Trump isn't single. He still has Laura Loomer, so that is his current paramour, as far as we know.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah. So he does have someone in his life, and good for him, because do you know how hard it is to find a partner in this world, especially in this modern world? I'm so grateful that I am married and I don't have to date anymore, because it is crazy out there, to find someone that you love, who loves you back, who is compatible with your lifestyle, gets your sense of humor, tolerates all of your weird habits. If you find someone to love you like that, and then and you love them like that back, then like who cares what their background is? I just want Jasmine Crockett to be happy, you know?
That's right.
And the idea that a white man is going to make this woman of color happy is insane, because yes, it is sexist. Yes, it is racist. It is dripping in like colonialism. And I know I hear all the arguments because they're all in my DMs, because I also married a white man. But you know, he's not the one that made me the way I am. In fact, he tolerates me the way I am. So, and I'm grateful for that. And you know, if Jasmine Crockett can find love in the way that she wants to, or maybe if she just
a bad one too.
I would say this: if she really was trying to, she would have already done it.
Right.
Somebody would be
just wants to be single. I just want her to be happy. That's it.
That's right. And as I
relationship with your wife, because nobody walks with her like that.
That's just
Imagine
hilarious.
a brother trying to be like, look, I ain't all that shit. You gotta talk about black shit.
Right.
You try to kiss Democratic ass, and I'm over it.
So Tariq wants to know, did the Democrats throw Jasmine Crockett under the bus?
I feel like she threw herself under the bus. I feel like all the theatrics is her doing it to herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like she totally did that to herself.
And the jury's still out on if she should tether or not.
Nah, she sound like she FBA goofy.
Mm-hmm.
The one that we're not taking with us.
Right.
Can't come with us.
She tried to be the top Democrat candidate, and they really threw her under the bus. Where is that article? Let me see if I can find that article, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read this article about Jasmine Crockett. This is from Newsweek, and this is somebody named Christopher Boozy. Boozy is a good name for this person because he sounds like he got his bussy spread open.
Oh my God!
But he's capable of Jasmine, but he's being critical of the Democrats. The article says Democrat leadership told Representative Jasmine Crockett she's too black and too loud. Opinion. This is an opinion piece. When Representative Jasmine Crockett stood before reporters Tuesday morning and announced she was withdrawing from the race for the top Democrat spot on the House Oversight Committee, she delivered a kind of truth that Democratic leadership desperately needed to hear, but refused to acknowledge. It was clear by the numbers that my style of leadership is not exactly what they're looking for, she said, as her voice was steady, but her message was unmistakable. And then this writer goes on to say, let me translate what she couldn't say publicly. Now, this is this person's conjecture. The Democrat Party just told one of their most effective warriors that she's too black, too bold, and too uncompromising for leadership. Cap.
That is cap.
Yeah.
Cap. It goes on to read, the numbers tell the story leadership wants to hide. In Monday night's steering committee vote, Representative Jasmine Crockett received just 6 votes. That's right, just 6. The same woman who traveled to over 100 events across the country campaigning for the Democrats, the same woman who gave nearly $600,000 to other candidates and raised more than $4 million for the caucus. The same woman, while her colleagues cowered in comfortable silence, she stood as one of the only sitting members of Congress actively and vocally fighting for this administration's assault on democracy. Let me read a little bit more. This is all cap, by the way. This person goes on to say, I watched Representative Crockett work a room, please. I've seen her connect with voters in ways that make veteran politicians look like amateurs. At an event, I witnessed something I hadn't seen since Barack Obama's early days. She had a genuine and electric connection with voters.
A lot more than 6.
Right.
Well, this is cap.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, when she spoke, people didn't just listen, they leaned in, they nodded, they felt seen. Apparently, that's not the kind of leadership the Democrats want. Okay, let me stop. Okay.
Don't even talk about
that's cap.
She don't even talk about black people.
That's cap.
It's me.
All cap.
I'm sitting on it while it's reading.
Now, let's get real why they're really throwing Jasmine Crockett under the bus. And they were probably planning on throwing her under the bus all along. They don't really have no long-term power plans for Jasmine Crockett. Listen, Jasmine Crockett is and always has been a political pawn. She's not a power player. Can we be real? What's up, the Tethanator in the building? Shout out to our legendary brother, the Tethanator. But Jasmine Crockett, she's a political pawn, family. From the beginning, she was positioned to be more of a performer than a real serious policymaker. The Democrats, they didn't really have no intentions of promoting that woman to no true power. They used her as a pawn to do all of that performative mammyism to try to energize Black voters, especially Black women, with all of those little surface level antics.
Yeah.
So her little image, that little mammy sassy bullshit she does, that was curated for like viral moments on the internet that they can try to work, not no real legislation. Yeah, all that over the top stuff she does, they're telling her to do that. Her role was basically to get out here and be sassy and try to sell immigration to us, because you notice how she's always trying to push that immigrant line to us. She's always supported these immigration policies, these policies that harm the economic standing and foundation of Black Americans. She ain't never been no hard body advocate for no reparations.
Never.
For real. So they'll trot her out to give those policies a Black face while trying to coerce foundational Black Americans into supporting an agenda that dilutes our power. Yeah. And that type of betrayal, it ain't lost. It ain't lost on us. Because listen, foundational Black American voters, we're becoming more sophisticated. We're outgrowing that whole sassy Democrat prototype, that whole sassy mammy stuff, clapping back at the Republicans. That shit has run its course. All right. We ain't impressed by that rolling. All of them Democrat shills, always sassy, talking real hood and cursing. They think that's going to appeal to the Black vote. Let me tell you, stupid fool, something. The Republicans ain't shit, and you a stupid fool for voting for them. No, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Y'all just getting up there cursing and being sassy. That ain't working. Right. We've outgrown that. That's not. We're becoming way more politically sophisticated now. We want policies now. No performances. Damn that.
Maybe they presented that.
We want policies that's going to protect us, like y'all giving policies to all these other people. You're not giving these other people performative bullshit.
Right.
They're coming across this border and there's a whole open treasure chest of resources for them. But we get all this sass and clapbacks. I don't want it. No, we are trying to get policies now. And that whole Jasmine Crockett thing, it comes across as unserious, it's patronizing to Black voters, and we're just really focused on tangible results. And I think she was really elevated to distract, not to deliver. The Democrats used her to create social media distractions during key moments.
That happened in her district.
While we're talking about some serious policies, they got her doing little TikTok dance challenges. They're doing the Beyonce challenge.
Back 285.
No, we're cool.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Them talking about how she connects with voters. No, she doesn't. Jasmine Crockett has not built no loyal foundational Black American base.
Not at all.
She hasn't built no authentic credibility with the foundational Black American community.
She's not really for
Her rhetoric prioritizes immigrants and LGBT talking points over anything for foundational Black Americans.
And she paid.
Yeah.
And they see this. The DNC and all that, they see this. They see she ain't got no stock within our community, within the grassroots. They see we ain't nobody rocking with her, so they're seeing how really she's really ineffective.
Yeah.
And also, I keep saying, where in the hell is her family from?
They pay you.
That's one thing.
You got no.
Where's her family from?
Yeah, where the hell?
I don't know nothing about that woman's background. And I swear, every time I see her with them weird wigs flapping all around, them synthetic bundles, it's giving Aki and Saltfish.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting an island vibe.
She's an island girl.
I'm just getting an island vibe. I'm not getting an FBA vibe from her.
Is she an island girl, y'all?
Because again, her whole thing, she was a useful symbol to appear inclusive. She was like a symbolic token. They got somebody, a younger person than the Maxine Waters and all of that, to kind of appeal to young voters. That was their whole thing, and to signal diversity while empowering non-FBA people. So yeah, that's not working. Yeah, the Democrats tried to use her as a decoy during the shift. See, right now there is growing discontent among the 43 million foundational Black Americans. So the Democrats kind of use her to keep the natives entertained while they're slowly trying to transition, placing more immigrant-friendly operatives in real positions of influence. You see?
Hold on, y'all. I gotta put it.
So yeah, we're not going for that. We're not going for that.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only
There's a
gonna
whole
benefit
new
Black
vibe
people.
out.
No, because that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No, because.
No. Out here that we're rocking on right now. There's a whole frequency we're rocking with. Shout out to everybody in here. A lot of folks came in here very fast. Let me get Whitney FBA. Let's get some people in here to chime in. I want to hear from you, Whitney FBA. Whitney FBA. Then we get the writer Jason Nicholson. Whitney FBA.
Oh shit! God damn it!
What happened, Whitney? You didn't expect me to.
Oh, thank you, Jay Dizzle.
I'm sorry. I did again.
Che had tapped into your
I
photo
didn't mean to hit
You didn't mean
the
to
button.
get on? It's
No.
okay. All right, go back in there and soak some of them beans. There you go. Jason, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's good, fam? What's good? I hope you're doing okay over there, fam.
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. I had a slightly different perspective I wanted to hit you with this whole Jasmine Crockett situation. So, not to discount your perspective, of course, but
Absolutely.
what
We're
I'm
talking. It's a dialogue.
Yes, sir. But the first thing that came to mind, because this is news to me when I'm hearing you break this down, this is news to me. The first thing that came to mind was, you know what? I actually think they were actually gonna run and push her to be the forefront, the controlled opposition. And if it wasn't for that FBA frequency, because like you already know they listen to the frequency.
Oh,
if we would have, if we would have if there was enough of us buying into that bull crap that she was like spewing, you know what I mean, off code, just it screams Black foreigner. You know what I'm saying? But if we would have bought into that, I feel like they would have actually like ran her as far up as humanly possible.
You know what? And I'm not discounting that either. I'm just looking at it from all angles. You might be absolutely correct. You know?
Yeah. I just wanted to just kind of get that perspective because that was like the first thing that came to mind, bro. And I was like, you know what? That's how powerful the frequency is of that FBA, man. Like we're in the control seat, and like I appreciate these spaces because what I'm seeing from our people is that we haven't fully grasped. We're grasping it now, to the degree that I've seen at the highest point, but we haven't fully or utilizing it to the fullest. But we are even that's at the highest rate. But when we kind of just all realize that whatever we want in this country, we can make happen. Like the snap of everything shifts, and that's really the fear. But yeah, I just wanted to break that.
Thank you, brother. And yeah, brother, you might be absolutely correct. They might have been like, okay, we're gonna make this woman rise to the top. Let's just put her out here, and let's see how the Black community reacts to her. So they're like, it's a kind of a win-win for them. They're like, okay, if the Black community rejects her, we can use all of her sassy mammyisms to try to galvanize as much as we can so that we can use that energy for another candidate. Or if enough of us are going for it, let's just go ahead and rise her to the top. Let's just go ahead and roll with her because she's already been compromised. She's not going to do nothing for the foundational Black American community. So yeah, that is a possibility. That is a possibility. But the brother Jason who just called, he was very, very accurate saying that the movement right now, there's a lot of power in it. there's a lot of power. Family, you, all 43 to slash 50 million, because there's between 40, I always use the term 43. There's at least 43 million foundational Black Americans. Some people say that number could be possibly 50 million. I just give a minimum number just for the sake of conversation to save time. But there is a power shift with us focusing on lineage. Do you understand that, family?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are holding a lot of power.
Yes, we are.
And these folks are scrambling. The Democrats are scrambling. The alphabet boys are scrambling right now.
Yeah.
Family, I've been seeing, I've seen people send me some links. You got some of these FBI / Democrat shills doing whole documentaries right now, trying to discredit the delineation movement and really trying to discredit me. That's another thing. They're trying to discredit me. They're making these propaganda videos with all of the same lies people have been telling for like the last decade, which I don't trip on it. I don't even have to address the same lies. And also them trying to discredit me, that's not going to work. I'm not the leader of anybody. That's why that shit is futile. I've never told anybody to follow me. You follow your lineage. You ain't got to follow me.
No, not really.
I'm just an advocate for our lineage. That's it. So them constantly doing all of these little COINTELPRO-ass videos, trying to discredit me and trying to discredit our lineage, that's going to backfire. Listen, these people are upset that foundational Black Americans, they're disrupting that multicultural voting block strategy. See, the thing is, the Democrats, they have long relied on lumping all non-white groups into one single Black and brown coalition to win elections. I want y'all to understand something. When they say Black and brown, they're not just talking about Latinos. When they say Black and brown, they're talking about Latinos, Blacks and Asians, Blacks and Hispanics, Blacks and Arabs, Blacks and Middle Easterners, Blacks and Indians, Blacks and Asians. They lump them into the brown category when it comes to us supporting the Democrat Party.
Mm-hmm.
So what they want to do, they want to galvanize the voters around a fake, one-sided minority people of color block so that Black people can get out here and mobilize everybody to get together and vote as one, while all of these people get the goddamn benefits. Now, this movement that we have now, delineation, that completely destroys that model because it demands lineage-based specificity. And it forces the party to address the unique grievances of foundational Black American freedmen. That terrorizes them. That disrupts that whole diversity umbrella that has allowed them to basically avoid tangible justice for us. Remember, in the 1960s, early 70s, they actively said, hey, we need to implement a benign neglect policy for Black people. Let's just act like they're invisible. We're not letting that happen now. You see, and then they get mad at me and they try to do these COINTELPRO-ass propaganda videos about me because they see, I do these spaces, I kind of organize these rallies and thousands of people show up without mainstream media. So, and I bring it to you straight. I expose how a lot of these immigration policies are weaponized to economically undercut foundational Black Americans. That's either true or false. Damn. So instead, I don't use empty rhetoric. So I connect this stuff to resource theft, job displacement, political erasure, and people see I'm telling the damn truth. And that's waking people up. You understand? So it ain't just me. People are just waking up to the okie doke. People are tired of being finessed. And they target me because they feel that I mobilize a lot of independent Black thought outside of the two-party system. That's why they always try to get control of things instead of respecting our position, saying, hey man, both parties are kind of janky. Well, you niggas are MAGA. You are really MAGA. They start talking all of this garbage, how we're secret MAGA and all that. That's DNC propaganda. That's coming from some think tank. When they start talking that, no, I didn't vote for no damn Trump. I ain't with no political party. I promote a spirit of independent Black political identity. I don't worship the Democrats. I don't beg the Republicans.
Right.
I'm coming at this thing from a power perspective. You hold your vote until somebody brings something to the table. There's too many of us to sit here giving away our vote for some damn catfish nuggets.
Right.
I just say shit that has common sense rooted in it.
Right.
Yeah. And see the DNC and all of these people, they're a little shaky because, you know, this could create a third force of influence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now we got voters out here who ain't moving until there's some tangible benefits. So now that's caught on.
Yeah.
You got Black people all around the country showing up to town hall meetings saying, hey, where's some money?
Right.
For us.
Right.
Damn that minority shit.
Right.
And how come all of you tethers are on this board right now? Everybody's asking questions right now. As you should.
Yeah.
Everybody, y'all showing up, telling these people, hey man, this guy right here who's some Caribbean dude who's now the mayor or whoever, yeah, your policies are janky, brother.
Right.
You want us to vote, but you ain't giving us nothing. And y'all sitting up here telling us that, yeah, we all need to vote to prioritize immigrants and people who want to change their gender and all of that. And we're like, no. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you wanting something for your vote. You want something that your tax dollars are paying these elected officials to do. There's nothing wrong with that. So instead of doing what the people want, they want to get into this COINTELPRO nonsense, making these damn FBI-ass propaganda videos and getting their sock puppet accounts trying to undermine me and undermine our lineage, because these people are very upset that I expose a lot of the controlled opposition.
Yeah.
You know, I point these Democrat shills out, these media pundits, these activists who roll under the radar as controlled opposition. Yeah.
And he does all that.
And I call these folks out. And it's not just defiance. That's a threat to these PSYOPs operations. Listen, I didn't say it before. These people have put straight up agents under me.
Yeah.
They have agents literally trying to undermine our events.
Yep.
You understand? It's a lot of shit behind the scenes. When we got the museum, stuff like that, they were trying to undermine that. They're still trying to do little stuff to undermine that. I ain't tripping. That's part of the game. I'm used to that. When you do something progressive, you better understand the powers that be. They're going to send their ops in there to try to undermine it. When they do that, that means you're doing something right. So I'm not shocked and I ain't tripping. Because right now, the reason why they're attacking us so heavy, the Foundation of Black American push for reparations, it's mainstream. It's a mainstream thing right now and growing. See, back in the day, people talked about reparations. It was like a little group in a room somewhere wearing berets and with leather gloves. You know, that wasn't, you know, like, okay, they're just in a room talking.
I think it's Seduction Law 13.
Yeah. It was a fringe thing. You talk about it and you get shouted down and then you change the subject. It ain't fringe no more. You understand? That's largely due to the groundwork laid by Foundation of Black American activists out here. Yeah. Politicians and institutions, they know that lineage-based reparations means they're going to have to open up that vault. It ain't no symbolic gestures. We've told them we ain't doing all of that. Reparations is going to be a hug. Reparations is going to be some coupons. No,
25.
We're giving we're showing big numbers. We're talking about 15 trillion here, between 500,000 and $1 million per person. We're throwing some real numbers out there.
Right.
With our chest out, and we ain't cowering and hiding now. We're giving them numbers and forcing them to discuss it. You see, we hadn't done that before like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And standing on our square with it.
Yep.
We're not getting shamed out of it. No. We're not getting shamed out. We're gonna stand on that. Somebody's gonna give up something.
Right.
Yeah. And see, they look at that as a financial threat, not just a cultural threat. And then they start blaming me. See, they start looking at algorithms. These people got deep algorithms and systems to track, especially with AI now. That we get like a basic AI. They probably got some AI that can really, really track what's going on and where it's coming from. And look, they done ran some numbers. They're running some analytics and they're seeing a lot of stuff. They were like, wait a minute. They're having these little meetings. They're like, yeah, a lot of this shit, this Nashi dude is really, really, a lot of stuff is coming from that part of the game right there. So they think, okay, just try to undermine and discredit me. And that's just not going to work. Because I'm here to tell the truth. And the genie is out of the bottle now. Yep. And Foundation of Black Americans, we're letting folks know that whole myth of America as some post-racial immigrant nation. Now, we're not going for that. We're not going for that. This whole lie that people see, we bring the truth and we give people the right talking points to use. When they sit up here and say some bullshit, America is a country of immigrants. How dare you? No, we're not. They love saying that. No, we're correcting the narrative. We're putting out media projects that directly undercut their propaganda. Because their whole thing is to erase us, to erase foundational Black Americans, ladies and gentlemen. The name of the game is for them to Africanize us, people of colorize us, minoritize us. Remember when they had the hip hop party or whatever at the White House or at Kamala Harris's house, or wherever they had it? Yeah. They had some hip hop party. They had Fat Joe up there and all them people. And I never forget, Kamala got up there. Yes, hip hop music. Comes from African rhythms, Latin beats, and Caribbean flavors, something like that. She gave props to Latin, Caribbean, and Africa. And the real people who created it, we don't even exist. You understand? That's what they want. That's the name of the game. These folks are doing a form of ethnocide, just trying to erase us ethnically altogether. Yep. That's why we hit their ass with microphone check. That really punched their asses in the gut. Yep. We got all the pioneers together and told the truth. Hip hop is the 100% foundational Black American creation, and these people were salty. Yeah, they were. Because that movie was doing
that was straight BS.
We were Oscar nomination with that movie. We were corresponding with the Oscar committee. We were about to do a big Oscar run. That movie was doing big numbers. The theaters were real excited about it, and then some of the Latino, Black and Brown coalition, boy, they started sabotaging the shit out that film. Yeah, they did. Oh, that's your Latino coalition right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's why that pendulum has swung back bad on Turtle. I done told y'all, man, when people start going against us, when people start going against our lineage, because when they attack what we got going on, what they're doing is attacking our lineage. Make no mistakes about it. And there's a whole new energy now. There's going to be spiritual reciprocation for attacking our lineage. Yep. Consequences. It's a whole different vibe now. They know what they're doing. And the energy is different. Yeah. And the thing is with us over here, you know, the government, they always fear a tech-savvy Black movement, just like COINTELPRO back in the 60s and 70s, and it never died out. It's still here. You know, the COINTELPRO, they dismantle Black power movements by targeting physical gatherings and all that. But see, right now there's a digital thing going on. People can get online and organize. People can organize in other spaces. People can create their own film. People can create their own social media. They can create their own podcasts here and there. So you can organize without centralized leadership. You don't need no leader. And that makes things harder to infiltrate and control. Yeah. That's why they keep trying to force a leader. You understand? There's no leader. Your lineage is your lineage. Right. But just like with COINTELPRO, notice whenever you hear people running around here talking about the leader of FBA or the leaders of FBA, that's COINTELPRO talk. Yeah. That's COINTELPRO. They have to
y'all.
manufacture a fake leader in order to attack, in order to kind of undermine the energy of the delineation movement. And the thing is, they get mad at me because I try to empower people in a way that can't be co-opted.
Right.
You see? It's not like performative DEI content. See, when I talk about things, it has cultural integrity. And that scares a lot of institutions that rely on watering down Black identity for mainstream comfort. Because see, what we're doing now, we're talking about our lineage in a very constructive way.
Yeah.
And we're not talking as foreigners, because usually when there's a Black movement, it's almost, yeah, we got to get back to Africa. We got to go somewhere else. We got to get out of here. This country is bad. Oh, this country did this. See, we're not doing that. We're not doing this country is bad. This country is our country. So we have patriotism to America. See, that's throwing everybody off because now you can't really demonize people. How are you going to demonize people for having patriotism to the country?
Right.
We're walking around with American flags. I've been doing that. We're embracing our Americanness. This is our shit. That throws people off. Because see, they can't demonize us for being patriotic. What are you unpatriotic? Because I'm waving the American flag. That American flag, remember, that's Grace Wisher. That was the foundational Black American girl who helped sew the initial flag. Our fingerprints are all on that. That's a part of us. We as foundational Black Americans, we represent all the great things that is culturally American. So we're embracing that. So it's hard to demonize people from that perspective. So because you can't control the narrative, you'll try to smear one of the messengers. See, all of these attacks on me, these folks making these documentaries, and it ain't about me. It's about regaining narrative control. And these people are doing kind of high budget smear campaigns. They're putting some monies. Listen, I'm a documentary filmmaker. Seeing what some of these people are doing, this ain't nobody hating. It ain't just somebody hating on the internet. It takes a minute to put documentaries together, to find footage and find B-roll. And that takes a minute. And you got these people throwing these little documentaries out overnight. There's money behind that shit. There's money behind it. These are big budget smear campaigns. So they hope to assassinate character because you can't really defeat the message. And when you go after somebody with grassroots support, you know, those smear campaigns, they create more curiosity and, in fact, more loyalty among the people. Because I'm telling y'all, these propaganda campaigns, they're backfiring. They're going to backfire.
New voices
because the streets, they no longer trust the system. You know, the very institutions pushing these little slick anti-Tariq and anti-FBA documentaries, these FBI, because it's clearly, some of this shit is so clearly FBI is ridiculous. You might as well have a nigga up there with a badge on. And with the DNC, and I know the DNC, they have meetings about me at their think tanks. I mean, the DNC, they've had many coordinated attacks on me. You see, they have no credibility with the grassroots. They don't.
You roasted me in that.
And here's the thing: the more expensive and polished their smear campaigns look, the more it looks like COINTELPRO 2.0. And foundational Black American voters, when they see that propaganda, they don't think, oh, concern. They see desperation. Because family, listen, all of those high-priced smear campaigns, that shows that we winning. Listen, if I was irrelevant, if I was just some irrelevant nobody, they wouldn't spend all this money producing anti-Tariq and anti-FBA documentaries. That shows we hitting a nerve over here. I want y'all to understand something. Propaganda is always a reaction to power. Propaganda is always a reaction to power. And these hit pieces, that proves that the foundational Black American delineation movement, they're looking at it as becoming uncontainable. Too many people are embracing their lineage, which is good.
You're spreading hate.
You see?
You're xenophobic.
So they're getting desperate. When you see these people with all of these little sock puppet accounts, y'all see some of these folks on here, all they do is whine about foundational Black Americans all day. Those are them FBI sock puppet accounts. We've exposed so many of them. Some of them, we've exposed how some of those accounts, literally, if you look at the time in which they post, some of them will start posting at like 6 o'clock in the morning and then stop around 3 or 4. These are somebody who's they're on a clock. I pointed out one dude, this dude had all these anti-FBA and anti-Tariq posts and tweets, and it would always be at the same time, start at 6 in the morning on the dot, and then it'll go to a certain time in the afternoon. That's a nigga who's getting paid. That's somebody who's getting a check. So when you see a lot of these pages, and all they have is anti-FBA propaganda, listen, people don't do things without some kind of payoff. You understand? Yeah, you got haters, but no, a hater has to pay bills. Let's be clear. You can be a hater all day, but you can't spend all that time just hating and not getting none out of it. A hater has to pay bills. You ain't got nobody sitting on the internet 8-9 hours just hating and ain't getting none out of it. You got to pay your bills. How you paying your bills and you on the internet hating all day? Somebody's underwriting your hating. You know?
Take this
over. Got to be very, very real out here. Let's get Red Cloud. Red Cloud, I hope you stay on subject here. You just be saying
Dizzle, how much you think they
Red
pay
Cloud, what's up, man?
Asians to do their Asian?
First off, I hope you and your family are doing well.
We're fine. We're great. What's up?
Fantastic. No, I agree with everything you said. And no, but you said 43. You think there's 43 million foundational Black Americans in America?
Yeah.
That number seems crazy high to me.
How so?
I mean, it's a massive number. I mean, that's like what is that? That's like 1/10, like 1 in every 10 Americans ish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what 12-13% of the population. Yeah, that would be 43 million. Yeah.
Rio getting paid to Shabaka.
I mean,
on Black News.
But like, not all Black people are foundational Black Americans, though, right?
Not the immigrants, no.
That's crazy high number to me. I mean, that blew me away.
To be honest, we think it's more. Actually, that's a low number. We think it's probably around 46, 47 million. But yeah, those are all the Black people who are not immigrants. These are all the foundational Black Americans. There's at least 43 million of us.
Well, that's crazy. It blew me away. But no, I just wanted to come up. I wanted to say, hey, you know, hope you and your family are doing well. And you know, one of these days, once I go to the museums in Cali, right?
Yes, it is.
You know, I'd love to visit it one time.
Got to come on through. I think we'll have something for you. We'll have like Mayo Monday and we'll play John Cougar Mellencamp and Olivia Newton-John and just have you come on and get your groove on. Alpha, what's up, Alpha? Hop on in.
And he wanted to catch the fade.
It's Afro Elite.
Mr. Alpha, hop on in.
Oh, Alpha.
Alpha, hop on in, Alpha.
It's a crazy number. Like you've never seen Black people.
All right, Alpha ain't saying nothing. Let's get y'all raise your hands if you're ready. I don't want to get folks on who ain't ready. What's up, Nikki? What's up, Yoshi? What's up, Brother Nas? What's up, Nicety Girl? Yeah, we got to have an event at the museum. I'm gonna have something in July. I got it. Cause we haven't had our own events up there in a minute, so we're gonna have something for the summer. We're gonna put together a nice little juke joint vibe.
2 times.
Let's get. Come on, who we got in? Who we got? Let's get Brother Suntan, our Greek brother. Let's get Suntan in the building.
$300 you sold your soul,
Staying on topic, your your political analysis this last election was more accurate than anything I saw on CNN or mainstream media in relation to foundational Black American voting patterns. You were right on the money. I'm not saying it to butter you up. You were right on the money. And I think your analysis about how your people are viewing the political situation, it's so accurate that I think you're making enemies with the Democratic Party, because I'm starting to see your talking points being mirrored by shills in the Democratic Party, as if they're trying to take your talking points and turn it into their favor to get your movement linked to the Democrats. So I'll land my plane on that.
And you hit it right. They use a lot of our talking points while they try to discredit me all the time, but use our talking points. They use our talking points all the time. Yeah, they study what's going on over here, and they look at me as a big threat, because I kept telling them Kamala was going to lose.
Yep.
I knew that because I'm out here in the streets talking to people. See, the Democrat shills, they listen. Many of them are tethers who don't be around us like that. Can we be real? A lot of those Democrats, we see them in here. Gabriel, RJ, Bushmeat, all of these people, these are foreigners. They ain't in our circles. They don't really run in our circles.
You got Matt.
So they don't really know the sensibilities of foundational Black American culture. They don't know what's being said out here in the streets. And I kept telling people, listen, I'm talking to some of these voters out here. Kamala's gonna lose. I kept telling you.
With my collard green.
No, yeah. We got Beyonce who gonna perform. We got Megan Thee Stallion. We got Glorilla. We got Cardi B. Shut your ass up. Kamala's gonna be the first Roman president with her greens. That ain't gonna go how you think it is. The community ain't going for that. I'm telling you. I kept telling you, a significant number of the community, and I'm out here heavy. They ain't going for the whole sister girl act. It ain't popping like that. They thought we were bullshitting, and when November 4th happened, boy, they were pulling on them hairlines. Well, them hairlines got even more receding. They were stressing. They were like, oh shit, that nigga Tariq was right. Oh no. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Or every day.
Microphone check.
Microphone check.
Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check.
No, yeah. Tariq Radio. Yeah, that song is addictive. All right, y'all. So we're gonna wrap this up. So, Lady Che, what is your closing statement?
About what? Jasmine Crockett?
Everything, I guess.
Jasmine Crockett's a flake, and she don't represent FBA. Even if she does have some sort of lineage, or she is of the soil, she's still
the jury's still out.
She's still a wench, really. Bad wench or not, that's yet to be determined. But she's still an old wench, right? And she thought she was doing something because she allowed them to, blow her head up. Yeah. But in reality, all she is just she's not. It doesn't matter how she says it, what she says. She doesn't have our interest in mind.
Right.
She doesn't do for FBA.
Right.
She's not trying to get reparations passed. In Texas, that would be a big thing. You know what I mean? And she sits at a high-ass level where she could have done that. If you're raising money for the motherfucking stupid tether caucus, then you should, and you're raising money for other Democrats, then you should be trying to fucking get them to go on with the most important thing, which is a motherfucking paid debt, a debt that's owed. You know what I mean? A lineage-based debt that's owed. You know what I mean? Cash, fucking make that check. Fucking stand for it. Fucking put in the work. Instead, you're busy, sucking dick and fucking placating to your donors, and motherfucking not actual black people, but whatever has to be motherfucking black people. Whenever if they're black people at all, you know what I mean? You're too busy doing that and caping for fucking shit that don't have nothing to do with you, unless you're on that spectrum. I mean, if that's the case, no wonder you can't get a man. You got bitches.
The jury's still out.
That's okay. You like bitches, cool. It's cool. You know what I mean? No wonder you ain't got no break. You ain't got no man. But all right, that makes sense. Okay, but who gives a fuck about that? She doesn't do for foundational Black Americans. She's not standing with us. She's not trying to provide no tangibles for us. She don't give a fuck about if we have a fucking crime bill. She don't care if we're fucking safe. You know what I mean? She don't give a fuck. All she cares about is pleasing her donors, trying to get to where she was. She failed epically, and then she dropped out like a quitter.
Yeah.
What's a quitter? The motherfucker that flees the scene instead of fighting for it.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna lose, you quit for real. The numbers just don't make sense. And he got some fucking weird ass motherfucking opinionated writer that's obviously on her side. Didn't see the big picture. The big picture is she was shilling. They put her on the. She got as far as she could get, which is the mainstream media for certain interviews on the internet. She thought she was doing something, but she's just a weird fucking goofy ass broad that thinks she's tight. And in reality, she's not tight, because if you were tight, you do for us, which is what is the way. You know what I mean? But instead, you want to be with the Democrats, so you get shat on like the Democrats been getting shit on. You get ignored from FBA. You don't speak for us. You don't speak for us. You don't do for us. Your intention. You got plenty of time. If you could raise money and to get other people shit elevated or whatever fuck, reelected, whatever fuck you're doing, then you should be just as invested in the same plight that you share with us, but you don't share with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be invested in reparations. You should be invested in doing the right thing instead of fucking shilling for a failed motherfucking party that continues to fail on a regular motherfucking daily basis. There's no hope. They're not coming up. Doesn't matter what tips you give them. They're lost. They're gone. They're fucked. They're not coming back. It's gonna end. Everybody's worried about him being a dictator. He said he was gonna do it. He's been doing it for like 8 months already. Like he's on a roll right now.
We're not even.
He's on a roll of fucking epic fucking proportions.
Oh, that's right.
Him getting fucking what is it? Impeached.
Yeah.
So what? Nobody's gonna take his black book away of fucking executive orders. Nobody's gonna let him not answer the phone or do media press. You know what I mean? You still got a whole fucking cabinet full of fuck nuts. You know what I mean? And you let fucking the Elon fucking do whatever, but he's complicit of doing whatever. If he's the president, he let off brands do whatever, and he just right there like, well, you know, they love us, they leave us. You did, and then he lied, and then you get caught up in a lie. Yeah. Like, did the shit that happened? Did you do that shit in Iran? What was the damage? It wasn't obviously obliterated. Eerie, still obviously there.
Yeah.
You didn't do shit really. You sent motherfuckers out there. Did you ask permission? Were you supposed to ask permission?
Yeah.
Or you just saw this? I got my pen and my black book, and I'm just doing whatever.
I got my pen. A black
and her
book.
insulting Melania, she wasn't really making no exact points on that shit. Right. So what? You didn't have to have any accolades to be a motherfucking wife of fucking a motherfucking weirdo that everybody likes. You know what I mean? And for some odd reason, you know what I mean? Everybody likes Trump, Daddy Trump. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, did she need to have accolades? What the fuck was the point of that? And everybody knows she's like not from here.
Right.
So this isn't anything new. How many wives did he have from other countries? Russia and shit.
All of them.
Right. He likes Russian bitches.
Russian big titty bitches.
Russian big titty bitches. So you know what I mean? All she's supposed to do is whatever little fucking bullshit.
Exactly. Exactly. My 285. You say, hey, 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 hey,
right.
Goodbye.
Right. Nobody's gonna take his pen. Nobody's gonna do anything to him. They're too pussy and scared. Because at this point, everybody's about to be at like an at-will state. Everybody's just getting canned and then rehired, recanned, and fucking you don't know what to do. It's all fucked up. He's on a roll right now. You know what I mean? And J.D. Vance is in no condition or position to run this country.
Right.
I didn't even think he was still around. I thought he was taking a break.
No, he's still around.
He showed up just to give some fucking stupid ass meeting, press conference.
Mm-hmm.
He looked stupid and he's dumb. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He definitely married up.
Yeah.
He married down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he married a doctor.
Right. So, you know, wears pants in his house.
Yeah.
Right? But in reality, though, he's not prepared.
Indian doctor.
Yeah, he's not prepared to do anything. None of them. They're just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And he's on a roll right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He said he was gonna be a dictator. Mm-hmm. He said for the day, but you knew he was cut. He should have just winked at us.
Yeah.
Right? He said he was gonna cut all this shit. Well, apparently he did. He said he was gonna deport everybody in the goddamn mama. Apparently he is.
Yeah.
Does he give a fuck about having the fucking army or the military out in California? No. Does he care? No. Did he do that shit in Iran? Possibly. Who knows what the truth really is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it solving anything? I don't know. I doubt it. We only get whatever the media wants us to know.
Yeah.
And it's really like whatever they think they're gonna convince us to agree with and go along with. Who knows? Who knows? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Elon? Who knows? What's going on with the fucking Afrikaners, or whatever the fuck, the South African white folk? Who knows? Do we know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But you're gonna impeach him, but you're not gonna do shit to him, and you're scared of him, and that's why nobody's still with old boy.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody's scared. He already knew. He gave a fucking lengthy church speech. They went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Twice. Maybe 3 times.
And symbolic, nothing
They
better.
tabled it. That means they're never going to talk about it again.
No.
Don't bring it up, cuz.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted everybody to know he was the one. Yeah, you were the one that made an ass of yourself.
Yeah.
For no reason.
No reason.
And as far as Jasmine Crockett, did they throw her under the bus? She threw herself under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
She's thrown herself under the bus of being like a know-it-all, non-know-it-all. Because if you knew it all, you'd behave yourself so you'd keep your shit.
Right.
You know, and if you were really, really, really black first and about us, you would have made your way about that. You don't speak to what we're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
And you shielded for fucking Kamala, but you didn't even if you're so attuned to what we want, why weren't you didn't talk about it? You didn't even try to make it part of your YouTube platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're too busy doing TikToks and looking weird. And your hair looks tussled. You know what I mean? Do better. Or don't. Actually, she quit, right? She quit the little run that she was on. Right, Jesse?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that say? I definitely don't want a quitter in my war.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who doesn't speak, who doesn't do the right shit. I want somebody strong who's gonna take power and actually fucking do the right shit. It's too late now. She already showed her ass, so she's been showing her ass for since Biden fucking took a siesta.
Yeah.
And let the reins go to fucking
Kamala.
Yeah. Whoever, you know what I mean? She's
Kamala.
like everybody else, dude. She's gonna do what every other black looking person does when they get kicked out the shit. You know what I mean? Or they don't come up for re-election. You know? So where did they go? MSNBC. Fox News. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm done.
All right, thank you, Lady Shay. All right, so this is going to conclude season 10, episode 26 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. Join us in about 8 hours for a brand new episode of Front Line Blacc News, season 5, episode 14, part 1. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe to all of our platforms, Front Line Blacc News on YouTube and Facebook, Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black
I
Experience.
just did a new episode. Go check it out.
Yes.
Just pretend to go check it out.
Right. Shout out to Shabaka for joining us earlier. Shout out to Jay Dizzle for coming through.
Yep.
Shout out to Max 285 and Twin.
Jab.
Jamboree.
Crew.
And crew. And anybody that was speaking but not speaking.
Yep.
So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and mass deportations, and black empowerment. We'll see y'all later for Frontline Black News. Peace.